SRG いやーてかとオーラ強えな。オーラさんじゃあ見たよ。ちょっと熱すぎたからね。みんなで見ようか。アルタエゴ VS どこだっけ。オーロラフィリピン。もうイスナチンちょっときつそうやったな。2月28日オフ会しようよ。なんで2月28日まあ考えとくわ。あれボイムちゃん発音してない。
There's altar champs all over, inside and out, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're still making their way into the stadium. And that was Ghostface from Scream in the crowd too, as we are going to be watching Indonesia and Philippines, their fate rekindles rivalry. As these two teams who were the second placers in their home region
怪しいやつは全部消してくわ。もう
to make it to this
俺が判断する。
A tale as old as time in MLB esports. Indonesia versus the Philippines. Is there a more iconic rivalry? Because again, even if Malaysia Philippines has become more recent, I think you can't say no to a match between the two world champion regions.
It's a classic. It's a classic if you've been in the scene for a very long time. It's one of those matchups that you cannot just miss because you know that the sparks are going to be flying and the best Mobile Legends is going to be put on the stage.
It's a rivalry almost as old as the M series itself. It finally gets another chapter after fate brought these two redemption-seeking squads together. And that's going to be the main story and focus for these two. Redemption. They've both gone through their fair share of heartbreaks. Not just recent memory, but for a good amount of the memory for these two organizations. Obviously, Aurora being younger compared to Alter Ego in the MLBB scene. But now, I feel like going into this is going to be a tougher test for Aurora because it is not 5v5. It is what, close to 1,000 versus 5?
さあどうなることでしょう。
When it comes down to crowds and silencing them, I think that the Philippines really knows how to put that full stop.
You see here the two poster boys of the matchup, Nino and Edward. Storyline from second place to world championship contenders for these two. Alter Ego, not a lot of expectations for their season, but they then brought honor to the Alter champs by finally making it back to the M series. Meanwhile, for Aurora, a different, more heartbreaking story. Dominating majority of MLBA Grand Finals.
あ、そうなんか長かった今日ダウンロード。ローディング。温めといた。玄関でやってるからさ、直で寒い風届くんよね。
But I'm leaning towards AE because when you're talking about, yes, of course, Nino is going to be leading the charge, but what about the rest of the team? They have no international experience.
冷たい風が。
This Filipino powerhouse coming from halfway across the world. Within Southeast Asia, we know that they are better, but the hunger we see in AE is different.
Aurora are a roster
Genkan
filled with world championship MSC contenders, some of the best in the world, while Alter Ego have the hungriest players. Even Yasuke, a rookie, looks good this M series. Let's watch this for more information on them.
玄関を段ボールで塞ぐのはどう？
それ外に出れなくない？ どうするの？
Turnamen orang-orang pasti mikirnya sebagian besar tuh yang juara dari regionnya masing-masing tuh akan tampil kuat kan daripada yang runner up-nya. Tapi kali ini berbeda gitu.
Alter Ego taking their revenge against the Indonesian
小窓から出れる。
They sent TL down to the lower brackets.
Think a little bit unexpected.
檻みたいになってるけど。
That liquids can give us a
困る。
こんにちは。
Nggak expect Aurora sih, soalnya dari Scream itu kita lawan TLPH tuh lebih susah dari kita lawan Aurora.
Yung meaning sa akin ng pagkapanalo namin
ダイソの防災用のホームシートいいよ。
doon kami kukuha ng momentum for mga next series. Next
Mm.
series.
yung revenge sa kanila kasi tagal na namin walang bawi sa kanila. Nakakagulat
今日
din
は棒読みちゃん消さなくて大丈夫そう？
いや、まあまあ様子見る一旦。
Oh mungkin sama tim ya, mungkin sebenarnya kita ada beberapa kartu yang belum kita buka. Mungkin nanti kita pakai di draft gitu.
Momentum is really something because of what's happening in M7. I think Alter Ego is doing good.
これ負けたら終わり？
yung malawak
Mm.
yung pool nila tsaka pag
Cross yung match din.
pindutan, magaling sila tsaka hindi sila yung nagba-back down sa mga team fight. Kung ma-execute namin yung mga plano or game plans nagawa sa screen sa
最近マジで鬱になってきた。い
Ano
や、そんな感じで。いや、まあ、いろんな人がやっぱさ、見てるし、やっぱ、ね、こういう大会ってあんまないからね、わかんないんやろうけど、さすがに、同じ質問多すぎて、マジで鬱になってくる。
Sama muka baru kan Alter Ego. Jadi yang didukung itu bukan cuma Onyx doang kan. Jadi Alter Ego jadi salah satu kandidat harapan Indonesia yang bisa membawa pulang.
足りない頭で考えろって言いたいところですか？
Kalau AE benar-benar bisa menang dan
Pikir
bisa
cara
top
beda
4,
yo.
aku rasa aku seneng sih. Soalnya kan kita Indonesia selalu dianggap kayak kita
最
di
近
bawah
日本が出れるようになったから興味持った人も多いからね。
mengubah statement itu sih.
まあね、
Sa akin ng M7 parang malaking bagay siya sa akin. Kami magdo-double effort kami and gagawin namin best namin para mag-champion.
まあそういうのもね、そういう存在も、そういうウィキペディアみたいなやつがある
見れば一発なのに。
のもわかんないし、まあそれしかわかんない。
coba aja nanti kita lihat hasil akhirnya aja
でもさ、画面に映ってるさ、
ピキったらリオちゃん泣いちゃうよ。
例えばさ、
Respect between these two, but of course, when you respect someone so
う
much,
ん、
sometimes you gotta talk a little bit of smack.
2勝したら勝ち上がりみたいな、なんか棒みたいなやつあるからある程度把握できるやん。見てわからんのかってはちょっと思ったりも思わなかったりもしたらしいけどね。そういう見ればわかるだろバカ野郎っていう。
I'm telling you, there's a lot of parallels that can be taken with them and previous Malaysian representatives before. It's such a good time, and they've convinced me for certain. Hey, you know what?
俺の優勝予想はアルタイゴ。
ヒロの優勝予想はいいよね。
でもね、今正直揺らいでる。オーロラ PH ちょっと強えなって。
Everybody's saying they're the C word, but I'll be honest with you. When you look at the
いや
stats,
この試合ではっきりする。アルタイゴの真の実力。
it's not just all lights and sounds and smoke and
皆
mirrors.
さん僕のゴールドレインに要
And
注
they've
目。
done it in the
出た。ドメン回答。
that they deserve to be here. They've proven it in the knockouts. They beat Liquid. Yeah, the only team they've beaten
ドメン回答が
so far in M7 is Team Liquid Philippines.
トルコのオーロラ予想以上に強かったな。
オーロラって3つあるけど両方強いよね。アルタエゴ見る限りは優勝候補だなって思う湘南館。この新たに入ったローマ上がってから安定感上がった。スワグとオーロラどうなった？
I totally agree, and I think that Hijime is one of those players. When you look at, he is international ready. You see it, you know it, you feel it, and that's what AE is bringing out here today. They have three faces on their logos for a reason, and they want to be able to kind of keep Aurora game in quickly on their toes as much as they can. If Aurora PH can play with their plans, of course it's going to be good. That's the beauty of AE. They know how to make the gears stop turning.
Are you talking about champions without belts? How about Yue? How about the man who has been on so many multiple
なんか
international stages?
でも話に聞いたところ、
A ring or a
あの
medal of his own?
アルタイは確かに強いけど、
How does Yue not have
今の
any
と
of
こ
these things?
そういう競合みたいなところ当たってないから、
There you go, our
そう見えてるだけっていう話も出てる。
relatively lack of experience compared to the roster of Aurora. They
でちなみに SRG と俺らは3-2で SRG の勝ち。
Aurora, they are also hungry to finally get those championships that have been escaping them since their
そ
inception
れが穂
around
村さんの評価
FPL
ね。
season 14.
いや
It's been a long time coming for
シンプルにアルタイゴ
just a bit they're gonna be
バカ強かったからな。
a little bit of our entrances from the first series. But I feel like this one's gonna have a different vibe. For the first time, we're gonna be seeing a hardcore home
まあ
and away walkout.
Yeah, and
途
that's going
中
to be
ま
a
で
fun
見て
time,
たけど、
especially
まあユーズ系は
だよね。
well as
ユーズ系正直俺と被ってるからな、キャラが。
the entire
レオモルトを使ったり、
Again,
ノーラン使ったりね。
everyone. Alter champs outnumber
俺も
Aurora's
生き写し実質。
what, 20 to 1? Yeah. It's a huge understatement to say that the Auroras and the Filipinos in the crowd are outnumbered.
あれ見た。
Because we know about Indonesian
お肉は
fans, they
競合じゃ
show
ない
up
の
with
か。
pride and they show up with love for
今大会やっぱレオモルトちょっと
アルタエゴってロームハカーと生み出したんだっけ。
have also delivered some of the most
じゃあ、
わからん。
穂村さんが加入すれば優勝って
So
こ
what
と？
are we gonna get today?
諸説あ
A
る。
win for Alter Ego or a win for Aurora? Heartbreak for Alter Ego or heartbreak for Aurora? All I know is we are gonna get a beautiful match of MLBB. Let's
世界
welcome
大
our
会でハーリ
team.
ー初めて見た。3塁で終わってほしい。眠い。このヒロって今出てる M7 のジャングラーだと誰がうまさ近い？
まあキネジみたいな、まあオーロラの、
世界大会のハーリーみたい。
Lights within.
空があるよね。
Aurora Gaming Philippines.
世界大会のハーリー、さっきやってたよ。
Alter champs.
世界ズさんかい。オーロラ対スアズの2戦目だっけ？
しかも次の試合、ターゲ版食らってるからね、ハーリー。まさかの。おもろこの登場シーン。あ、ちょっとすかしてんな。
誰がやっても一緒と言われてるキャラで海外プロがやってるとこみたい。
Still invulnerable. Indonesia. Let me hear you say, go, go, go for Alter.
ハーリー版とかレジェンドやん。
It felt like an anime entrance for these two.
この音楽自分たちで選べるんかな、登場の時。
Redemption, hunger, Alter Ego and Aurora Gaming Philippines have a lot to prove, and they are ready to do that.
To put it into context, it's not just 10 seasons Alter Ego waited to step forth. It's been 6 years. Let's welcome their coaches on stage, Aurora and Alter Ego.
An exciting time to be alive, to witness this battle happen once again. The classic between two major regions. What to be expected here will only stay here in
来
JKT.
年はホムヒロがここに立ってるのか。
Difference between these two is for Aurora Gaming PH, it's expect the expected. Because
日
they
本登場
deliver
するとき
the
M1 のあの
cleanest,
曲用してほし
fundamental,
い。
solid MLBB.
ホム
The
ラは最
understanding
近
of
ス
the
ターで
playbook
登
of
場
this
でしょ。
team.
俺はもうギガプリンのやつで行くわ。
Bar none. Alter
プリ
Ego
プリン
runs
っ
that
てい
playbook
う
out, writes
あれ
their own book, and expect the unexpected from them.
It's a clash of styles. The real test is whether or not Alter Ego has mastered every face of the game. Because with Master of the Basics just behind Aurora, I'm pretty sure small mistakes can be recovered. Big mistakes is a detriment.
Let's run through these lineups. Reintroducing Alter Ego Esports for you guys watching at home. Yes, some of them did shave their heads in an effort to prove their commitment to running straight for that World Championship title. Nino, Yasuke, Hisume, Alec, and Arfi.
Nino is number 1 in KDA, GPM, turret damage per minute amongst EXP laners. Yasuke number 1 in KDA, kills per game among junglers. Also the fewest deaths with 6 among all players in M7. This guy was a rookie last season, and he's doing this on the world stage.
And this is why they're so hungry. The first to actually qualify here to the playoffs, but their opponents are no pushovers. When it came down to the best of ones, maybe they struggled, but as soon as we see best of threes, this team comes alive. Aurora Gaming PH with
マジでダーク感あるわ、あのタイプ。
and Domenkai Edward, Mr. MVP himself, just keeps on getting it right next to Nino.
One of the three known as MV3 when they ran with Blacklist International. He's also got Demon Kite, number 3 in the damage taken per minute next to Detective and Boyet. You can tell it to his Fredrin to stop taking so much damage and dishing it out in return.
I was thinking about Edward and the leadership he can bring here for Aurora. Playing on the world stage in Indonesia is not new for him.
アニメなら
Forget
絶
there's
対
one
帝
more
国
player
側
for
陣営。
Aurora that can add to that. It's Light. He's experienced playing with a fervent crowd of Indonesia when he was in MPL ID Season 15 with Bigatron by Vitality. So, with that in mind, I feel like when it comes to two teams with very clashing styles, is mental gonna play a factor? For me, definitely.
100%. And I think, you know, when we're talking about mental resilience, it goes both ways. As much as this crowd is going to be supporting AE and putting pressure onto Aurora PH, if a single play goes wrong, that could hurt AE's odds.
Don't show AE this chat because they already know, all right? It's Aurora who needs a little bit of online presence because in Tennis in Dortinayan, you know it's all Alto champs. Where are the Auroras? They're still outnumbered, 2-1.
Of course, we all know how passionate the Indonesian fan base is, but I'm pretty sure the Filipinos are going to start racking in some votes in the fandom war for Aurora in the chat. But as you see, this is a hostile and passionate crowd in Jakarta as the Alter champs continue to go wild as we head into the draft. Speaking of draft, let's talk about it. Alter Ego. Question is, I feel like a good beginner is, what the heck is Arfi going to play? Are you going to see him in a marksman? Or are we going to see him on a fighter? It feels like so far in M7, whatever you give him, it goes well.
Okay, that's a valid question to ask. Given their spotless record, they've played the least amount of games possible for a single team in M7. Arfi's only played Claude, Freya, and CC. Has never touched
インドネシアだからね。
Carry, has never touched the breakout hero of the later half of M7 so far, Sora.
But we don't know that
シンプルにファンの数が違う。
インドネシアの組織論。こんばんは。エボスってどこ行ったの？
エボスは今くすぶってる。うわぁ、これ俺にもできんのか、この青のやつ。難しいな。
say, slightly older version of MLBB with having a marksman carry in the gold lane still definitely works. They're one of the few teams that after seeing the effect of Claude in the metagame, suddenly said, "Hey, let's just pick up Claude in the first pick right away," and they would consistently do
まあ俺は
Rhea, Granger, Harriman carry are the other heroes that Dominic has played. Not as many fighters, but maybe
俺はアルトライゴの推しというか、まあユズ系だね。
as we count down to
今の推しはユズ系。ジャングラー。
wherever you're watching, what do you think will come up? Because in my head right now, the permutations continue to go. From the gold lane, let's look at the opposite end in the EXP lane. Edward and Nino, to be fair, I feel like
こ
they
の
have a
ヒロ
similar
来年こ
playstyle.
こ出るなら
They
観
have,
戦
they
チケ
actually
ッ
have
ト
a
買ってみに行く。
pretty similar playstyle.
ああ、もう買っといていいよ。
Edward, there is a certain level of
今のうちに。
I need you to do X.
バナナの
Nino,
食べ
on
る
the
で
other
しょ。
hand, kind of probes that question a little bit more. He starts
小
asking the
村
rest
は
of
ど
the
こ
teams,
にい
hey,
るの？
what are some of the cooldowns I can take advantage of? What kind of openings can I create for somebody on the team? Both are looking to dominate their lane. Both looking to find impact in those team fights. But based on what I'm
俺
seeing
今
in the bans, it looks like
千葉の極寒地で 試合を眺めてる。
the Valentina opens up options.
I'm smelling a Sora early on.
Oh yeah.
That's what that Valentina is telegraphing, as well as a Farsa. Sometimes you just want to put it out there.
ファニーは消さない。
Are willing to give the Sora as they take out the juice in available here for Alter Ego.
長
Flexible.
崎じゃない
And
の？
of course,
でも長崎じゃない。
go for it.
やっぱね、中段で動く系のチームだからな、ファニーはあんま怖くないっていう判断。
One of them happened, well, I don't know whether the family's going to come out within the first phase or towards the second phase. It's one of the few picks that we don't usually let through as often.
でも、ローダの方が
And also, on the opposite side, Yasuke
勝ち要素多いな。
more than happy to get access to it.
I feel like between these two teams, this Aurora, who definitely has to think about the family more. Yasuke has had an MVP performance with that hero earlier. This M7 definitely have to watch out for it.
さあ、
It's the Cho and the Y.
これレオモルド飛んでくるぞ。
Very basic standard Aurora. Expecting the Fanny to come through, they already pick up the Cho.
やっぱね、一瞬にはね、オールインコーチが強いから、レオモルド、ゴールドソラ。一応バレンティナ。
これ買った方がフラグと戦うのか。
Jump the gun and nope, they're going the opposite direction. They're going for a fighter in the jungle. Leomord, they showed this early in the Swiss, and now
一応オールインだったら、まあファニーでもいいけど、
Aurora Turquie.
ファニーだとね、体型面がちょっと不安になったり、一番抑えたらきついから、ね、安定のレオモルド、オブジェクト性も強いし。
Concussive blast, you will be able to get through it without much of a problem. I think the real question is whether or not they're going to target specifically
だってバレンティナ消えてるよ。
instead of pushing the waves and then looking to invade after. Look to punish,
そら
right?
消さないのはバレンで見れるし番枠ないからってことなのかね。
That is ruthless aggression. Rora can't go PvP here. They have to go attitude era style if they want to. And Cho and Farsa are a simple way to do that through the center of the map. But then you're gonna have to have a
まあ現状枠がないっていうのもあると思うわ。でも高校なら、まあ、今みたいにそのガレック、ゴールドならクラウドが突出してて、まあ、ロームならガレック。
そら取る気満々のバレンテ版か。
で、ミッドレーンなら、まあ、触手。ってなっちゃってるから。で、直視に対抗できる、まあ、イブなんだけど、イブアルタイゴ消しちゃってるからね。なってくると、まあ、触手に消されなくて、なると、やっぱどうしても空が空いちゃうみたいな。知らんけど。
If you're going to be looking for something that could disrupt team fights, if it's available for them, though it is slower, if Rora want to go front to back, the glue is still going to be an option.
See the Esme going to be banned out from the side of Rora, and I think at this point, AE just need to get rid. Oh, wait, no. Oh, do they hold up the Uranus, or do they... both don't feel very good here. No matter what, I think that Sora's going to get sandbagged, and they might have to open up a couple of other options. Maybe towards the Rome section, but there it is, the Uranus already gone.
So what does that leave our boy Edward? Mr. Consistent still has in the pocket Lapu Lapu. Yep. Yuzhong, one good target so far, and we saw that a Yuzhong is very, very vulnerable in the early game.
スワグのミドファーさがき
He
で
can
う
play
まかっ
Arlo,
た。
he's 100% with it. I mean, played once.
Final slash would be good.
朝マジで多いね。
Sandbag, I feel like. Arlot isn't really a traditional sandbag. He's the guy that comes out of nowhere final slash.
なんだってスキル4個あるからね、こいつ。
Aggression and vengeance ticks. So now they're going to be going for a Demon Kite centered lineup with YSS being supported by 4 pieces on the side of Aurora. They pick up a Freya for Dominkai. Didn't go well for him the first time we saw it, but now in the second game after
鳥
that,
の
it
ス
went
キ
really
ルが
well.
強い。
I think it'll be good here. I mean, no matter what, it's
ウル
going to
ト
be tough, right?
一発
If
で
you
ハプ
forget
消し飛
about
ぶ。
Domenkai on this Freya for too long, your entire backline, especially if you get stuck in the middle of the fight, like walking through mud, he's just going to start shredding through you, even if you are pumping out 10x the damage, just because of how the
Gwen, I like the Gwen. AE of the to the front line of Aurora, and here's
空
a
が空いてる意味がわからないんですが、最初いけるってことなんですよ
Why don't they
ね。
just pick Mincetar? It stops a lot of the big
これ
meta
言ったよね、さっき
in the
ね。
current
だ
からもうバン枠が足りないって。
And here it is. So many dashes instantly negated
I see.
by King's calling. Alter Ego's lineup needed
I
more
see
crowd
that too.
control,
サプ
and
ライ
they
ズピッ
got
ク
a
来
hell
た。
of a lot of crowd control. Guinevere and Mr. as
Mighty.
unique as it is, I like how Alter Ego closed it out.
hold up. This also shuts down
これフレイヤーへの対処法ってこと？
That's how earlier teams in the Swiss figured out how to make this work, but now you are kind of slowed down. They instead go for the Lapu Lapu, the safer pick.
Yeah, no choice here for the side of Aurora. They've got a decent amount of damage on their side, a lot of bursts, a lot of key components that they can mix and match according to the scenario. I think that AE needs to take the more linear approach. Keep it simple.
That Mr. looks poisonous to me. That
The Mincetar did not keep it simple.
Yeah, it's not simple, but oh my god, all those dash blocks. As a Filipino, I gotta say, this pains me to say, I'm leaning towards Alter Ego for the draft.
I'm saying AE for sure.
I'll keep it close to the chest. Until the Mincetar proves it's worth its pick, I'm saying Rora.
Well, let's see how it's gonna work as we enter Flying Clouds in what is sure to be an electric 5-game series. Best of 5, Alter Ego, Aurora, Indonesia, and the
プレイヤーの
Philippines.
対処不備
Welcome
か
to
と思っ
another
たけどロ
chapter
ー
to
ム
this
マイジ
long
ーか。
story. Mirko and Trex, let's go!
いや、これ多分、ロームはグネビアっしょ。多分。あ、やっぱそうだよね。
Alter Ego facing up against Aurora Gaming now. Mirko, they gave their predictions on the draft. How are you feeling about it yourself?
Hey, Alter Ego are very, very lucky, you know, so I think Aurora got this.
I gotcha. Aurora got this. Just that simple, that easy. No questions asked. No hold bars. Now, when I take a look at the mid lane, I
なんかランクみたいな
we saw something similar in the last series. A similar lineup in the mid in the far
構
zone.
成してんな、お互い。
To do well, you get the rotations, you get the aggression. But we are seeing Alter Ego already trying to push in.
あ、ちゃんとハント取って中立は死守。
It's so aggressive, they just want to push the tempo. And honestly, we got to
X
see this
スプマイシーは
already.
おもちゃ
Aurora
って
Gaming
某
did
配
the
信
same
者に言われ
thing
まし
to
た。
SRG early on. In game 1 all the way to game 3.
ゴールドならいいんじゃない？
SRG
今
adaptation.
のアルターエゴ、七色のピックするから楽しい。
あ、お、ゆず系。
First blood for Aurora Gaming, very well done.
相手からしたらオブジェクトにグネとマイシーって確かに嫌だわ。
ゆず系何しとんねん。
Already showing the listen, we're ready for that. We don't have a problem with that at all. Taking a look at some of the emblems, Warcry onto the Freya, trying to be aggressive. On top of that, extra damage for the items.
あ、でもちょっとマイシー強い。ちょっとマイシー強い。いや、でも、さすがに。あ、
Jikundo and the Shunpu, but it's just to threaten RFB, just to possibly bait out the flicker from him.
So Aurora Gaming still playing it safe. They don't want to force it. They don't want to force their hands. This is your typical Aurora Gaming, not pushing anything too far. We're gonna get a slow chokehold on you and just keep letting the gold
マイ
bleed
シ
out.
ー視点常に欲
Third
し
one
き。
already started out by Aurora Gaming
昔からゴールド
Philippines.
マイシーやってるナムが資産の勝ちってこと。しかしさすがのエドワード。
Very, very low. Nino able to flicker in, getting the kill down.
You were able to find the response.
うわ。 いやー、リスンシ持ってった上であんだけ敵にダメージ与えれるの強すぎる。やっぱそらゆずかもまだ死ぬぞそれ。ああ、構成じゃあゴールドフレイヤーだからこそ毎週ピックっていうあれだって、トロガーで毎週ピックしてるやつはマジでアホ。
ランクマッチくらいキル起きますね。ソロランみたいなです。このライロは U2 のトライアウト起きますか？
時間足りないっつって落とされる。
You can't doubt that they can. You can't doubt that they can execute all of those crazy gambles.
They finally hit their second form, you know? They finally moved forward. They've come out of the cocoon. Aurora Gaming
took a while.
Is ready to flap their wings. It took a while, for sure.
But this is a
very different team than what we've seen in previous internationals. And if they keep this pace, it looks
ただね、君ピックっていうのがね、結構いいかもな、このゴリゴリファイター構成で。全員突っ込んで後ろからキミが援護射撃でしょ。
毎週の活躍が楽しみ。
ちょっと序盤押され気味すぎてるから、オブジェクトは行くか。マジマジマジ。ああ、いいね。ちゃんと空の。
装備のとこポチポチしてるのって何かあるんですか？グモマップ忘れて敵のより速すぎるのあるある。マジでオールイン構成が強い環境。レオちゃんが馬乗ってない時も強気なのが気になる。
これちょっとなんか、あ、絡まってる動きが。
That's going to help secure this tier 3 on the bottom side. Just to mess with your head a little bit, man. Just to get in your mental.
Nice BTR, by the way. My goat! Anyways, yeah, no. Light is just so annoying. Every single time he's on the choke, Trex, he wants to make that extra move. He wants to cancel out your recalls. He wants to cancel out your skills. And even if the way the dragon is off, a lot of times...
1周目でも多分温まってないな、これ。1試合目。
It was Edward with the follow-up.
Alright, in the mid side, Yue and Light continue to control. Alter Ego now,
ここで降参ボタンを押したらメンバー抜けちゃうから気をつけてほしい。知りすぎたね。
Daisuke is 0-3 and 2. It's not where you want to be on a Leomord. We've seen Leomords do great when they can get that early aggression, but they haven't been able to do that. So now we have to completely rethink our strategy if we're Alter Ego.
What's that going to be? Right now, I guess it's minimize.
マジでアルタイゴ構成だけじゃなくて動きもランクになっちゃってる。
青チームマイシーのミウルトまだ使ってません。
マイシーウルト使ったよ。
誰だよ世界大会でソロランしてるの。
Actually, they're the Yisun Shin as well. They can constantly just go for
5分でサイデスしてるアーリージャングルは危機感持った方がいいですか？
全然アーリーってわけでもない。中盤強いし。
マジ。渾身のマイシーによると。
But the problem is, if they send someone down, it's going to be a long time until they can get back to the turtle pit. Or the rest of your members are going to all get cut off, and all of these skills, like you said, need to be used in a cycle. Warax does finally get locked in for Yasuo.
準決勝別のカードが激アツの戦いだっただけにね、3-0 とかで終わったらマジで気持ちが。なんかマイシーなんか
Sounds away the dragon lock in. Is that Nino down? Spatial migration with the Valor in the back. Nino gonna be taken out. Now it's Domeng and Demon Kite helping each other out as Yuzuke walks away. But Edward.
マジなんか渋いことになってんだよ。
Go for it. Rora should be able to get this for free.
Rora treated that turtle like it was a lord, systematically getting the kick, bringing the rest of the team down. At least Yazuke gets a purple here. It's the first time we've seen them able to trade something in a loss, but it's still not a great trade.
Perfect turtle for Aurora Gaming Philippines, and they're just going to have this steady build. If Alter Ego Esports aren't going to bring the chaos to them, this is Aurora Gaming Philippines comfort zone. Again on Yue, but he knows there's a Purify on his hand, so he can't just go all in, and they have to deal with Domeng Kite somehow. Traction pulse there, Yuzuke! Trying to go for the chase, but Yue.
That's what happens when you're at a 3.5k gold deficit. Even when you get the big plays, you don't always get the kills. And this is what Alter Ego Esports is going to be looking at for a bit now. Taking a look at the items. Minsathar takes up the scythe. Going to work into DHS next. Is that a DHS coming up?
I believe so. I think he is going to be going for the attack speed build here.
Is it going to be a fast boy? But I don't know if it's going to help. You know, Leo said until we see the Minsathar work, you still got to doubt it. And right now, I'm definitely doubting it.
Yeah.
We haven't seen anything from it.
An all in onto Ollie with the way the dragon as well. They just go all in for it, and it works. Alter Ego, we're in no position to help the roamer. 0, 3, and 2. The gold lead now getting out of control.
I would honestly say that Aurora Gaming is the one that's bringing the chaos. Yes, it's organized chaos, but they are the ones that are being hyper aggressive here.
まあまあまあ、1試合目も SRG 負けてたし、そういう流れでしょ。
They came for it. It's like, fine, we can do this. We can play this. They have the Lapu, they have the Farza, they have the damage, and to top it off, they have this Freya who can also just bully the front line.
So again, for Alter Ego, it's all about the backup plan, which is farm it up. He should be going to be caught.
Yeah, right.
Going the way to Dragon now as Delman continues the chase in the back, and that's going to be the space. The final Requiem use. Edward goes through him.
Dazuke tries to do something, but it's just not enough.
やばい。マジ。
They all fall under it, but there's not enough
王者は
damage to
初
take
戦
him
を上げるんだ
down.
よね。
With a 3-man hook, but
うわ。
it's Edward who goes through them
もし負けた
all.
ら
They
次はゴール
tried
ド測っと
valiantly,
く
but
る
it
やろ
just
な。
wasn't enough. Aurora Gaming with a full team white.
Agent Zero
マジめっちゃいいの決めたけど、
swinging that sword.
浮き筋に押すし、
Picking up a triple and now a free lord.
いけそうかなったね。
Good. It looked possible
ビッグ
for
プレーム
Alter
マスク。
Ego, but the dreams were crushed in the
いけそう
hands
か
of
なったの
Edward
に。
there. And now
これで負けるん
Aurora
か。
into the
マイ
hands
シー
of
に
Aurora
続くキャラがいなかったね。
Gaming.
お金差で無理
I'm
か。
thinking some towers are going
キミ
down.
はフレイヤに見られてたし、
So too.
あそこで一人でもね、合わせれるキャラがまだ残ってたらよかったけど、それはもうウルト入ってて、
A composition built
で、
to have a lead by this point of the game.
あれも溜まってなかったし、
Dictate the fights. But now it's Aurora Gaming dictating everything. What a read by Domeng down below. Knows Alec was there. Alter Ego are getting read out as RB goes for the King's Calling again. Now they'll be able to actually get a kill. But now they're caught in the bad spot as Edward goes in for the Bravest Fighter. That's a conceal use. Traction pulse. Dodge away from by the CC immunity as he goes back in.
Nice bound shocker does land down onto Alec. They're forced to back off.
Forward up top.
だからマジワンチャンワンチャンありそう。
Already got one member. Now they can try to distract Aurora Gaming Philippines as they clear up these minion waves that are coming at them. And obviously the Lord up top. They are trying their best not to let it
また空の
charge
勝
through.
率
And
下がっ
yeah,
ち
they
ゃ
will
う
be able
か。
to do it.
Yeah, honestly, Aurora Gaming PH takes this push slow. No major towers lost. They only lose one tier 2 on the top side. And this is going to be able to bide a little bit of time for Alter Ego Esports. And from what we saw last time, they do have some pick.
なんかまだ返せそうな雰囲気はある。
Look for one member at a time.
Maishin
Keep yourself in the
勝ってほしい。
game until everyone can fight together.
That's the thing about the Minsathar right now, right? You can't purify out of the King's Calling. When you're in there, you're stuck. You gotta deal more damage than your opponents. You have to just go in.
ただね、まあロラだからな。
That Aurora Gaming Philippines had to take it slow.
ロラなんか途中でこけて逆転みたいなの時々あるからね。
You know, there is also one
形が綺麗なだけに。
美味しいとグネ次第ですよね。
Sora. We've seen teams from we saw SRG do it, we saw Innocent do it. Get savages even from behind. One big power play once the gold gets to that point, once the items locked in, then the possibilities are there Can Alter Ego pull it off though?
Here's the catch though.
Going tank.
He's going tank. Nino is an XP laner, and we've seen from the Sora as an XP, it's mainly just, oh, Nino actually just walks over Light. Yasuke actually spots Light, he buys the immortality in time as Nino goes in. They know everybody's in the bottom lane now. Even all in over on Light as Alec rotates as well. Spatial migration going away from him.
うわ、
And there you
殺せない
go,
か。
Light just styling on him up top.
ルネとマイシーのドリームコンボ決めればあ
They
る。
tried.
They couldn't land a
They
skill on him.
tried.
プレ
Light's
イ
too
ヤーこ
good
ん
at
な
video
強い
games.
と思わなかった。
That's what?
That's tank Sora.
That's
for you,
tank
baby.
Sora. Honestly, even if it's damage Sora, I really don't think he would be able to shred Light. But yes, that is tank Sora, just tickling the choke.
Tickle in the show.
That's Pauldron at least though, but the Backlave on the other side too, so they have a way to deal with Yisun Shin. But who gonna deal with Yue?
Who's gonna deal with Yue? You gonna deal with Yue?
What, physically?
Mentally?
Mentally? I don't think I can. Oh! Maybe if I complimented him enough, then we can actually do that.
Like catch him off guard. You'd be like, hey, you look great right now, and then bang. You know?
うわ、空の俺と落としたの熱。
Yujima actually picks up the win of nature, and it's an endless battle for Yasuke, who is 0-4 by the way. Again, the stats earlier, Redmar said it, he's #1 in KDA and kills per game, but this game he's gotten 0 kills, and it's looking like a free lord as Nino tries to look for an opening. Tomenkai goes for the poke, RP gonna look for the hook, won't be able to find it now. Yasuke as well pops in to Phantom Steed.
イスンシンも途中。空はね、確かに割と、あ、マイシーウルト。
Calling. What's going on with RP right now?
Tried to read Light's movement. He tried to go
やばい。
calling as Light goes in for the G
マイシーのウルトないと、なんか、
calculation and now with no big
きつそうなイメージが。
to give it away. Alec with spatial migration, able to find Yue in the backline. Nino walks it forward and actually gets Demon Kite down.
Kazuke steals the Lord.
And now it's an all-out fight as Yasuke still on the horse. Going in Ijume! Going for the damage now. It's a pumping forward. Light loses the mortality. Ijume in the backline now over on Yue, cutting him down.
The bait was in. Hijume with a double kill, making it triple.
And now it's just Agent
来ました。
Hijume goes in again as a famous fighter coming in against 4 members.
アレック。ね、アレックはね、できるやつなんだよ。
マイシーラヤン。
これがオールイン構成。いや、マジでアレック、ナイスすぎ。
反撃や。
Alter Ego Esports just turned the tables. They were behind about 2,000 gold. Now they've got a lead. Plus a Lord marching down.
There's something about them that keeps them going. It's the
いや、マジで研ぎ澄まされてたね、グネビアのフラッシュに好き。
Gaming Philippines on the other hand though took that fight despite knowing the
マイシー
Phantom
のウ
Seed
ルトは
was
おと
used.
り
There
よ
were。so many windows that were
マジでウルトないから、よし、前出るかって。
never let it fully close. They fought while
ここを狙
there was
う。
a little bit of a gap between.
I mean, it all started with that violent requiem, right? It all started with that Nino jumps in.
And now Valkyrie descent getting into safety. Tomenkai no purify.
これマイシーにウルトして油断させる作戦だな。
Hiding in the bush, ready to pull up, jump about the cut.
で、
Do it.
で、マイシーはいつ活躍する
Going
の？
back to base possibly. Lord crashing in.
Ijume buys immortality as well. He has 7 kills
あ、
now.
でも相手に
The wake
あ十分圧がかかってるか。
shake and bake. Ricky Bobby. Nope.
Light gets out. Alter Ego have swapped the game around. Now it's them who have the advantage in the structures, in the goal department. We're getting to a point where the goal won't really matter too much. But trust me, those structures will, going in all alone. That's 1v3.
やっぱりマイシー来るぞ。あ、マイシー捕まった。あ、うんうん。あ、あ、あ、
continues to get free shots though. Edward slicing through him.
Can they get to Hijume? No, they cannot. 30 seconds on the Lord. Alter Ego can still breathe, but they
マ
have
イシーのウ
lost
ルトを
their
常に
gold
警戒
lead.
させて
Now
動
it's
き
like
を
with
制
the
限
angle
で
that
き
game
て
with
る。
Jikundo.
これまずい。
They have to give the orb
そんな噛み合わないな。
Hijume is able to get that jetpack
これまずいよ。
over the wall.
いや、このミニオンでワンチャン全然終わる。
The steed comes out. And Aurora Gaming are
この
looking
ミニオンで
for
全然終わる。
There's a minion and a cannon together. Valkyrie descent to the back
ア
line.
ルタ
終わら
ー
な
っ
かってた。
こんな戦闘狂だっ
Feathered
け？
airstrike. Mid lane baser now taken down and
いや、チーム一新してるからね。
set their sights
ほぼ面影ない。
Here's the kicker,
マイ
right?
シーは
Alter
今死ん
Ego,
だと
they
思わ
flip
せ
the
てる。
table, they get a gold lead, they get a Lord, they get so much
これ今ミスディレクション中。最後のでかい一撃を持っていく。それがマイシートある。フレイヤの立ち位置、エロ。やばい。マシフトチ。あ。
Now it's Demon Kai
Oh.
looking to chase on Alec, goes through him like he's just, oh my goodness! Immortality down is in the mid lane. It's a big fight going on now. Who's gonna win that one? As Demon Kai gets a double kill, and in the mid lane, it is Nino taken down, and Aurora wipe Alter Ego out.
There is nothing they can do at this point, Aurora Gaming.
It is all over for game number 1. It's the start to the best of 5. That the Filipinos would definitely be happy with.
我らのマイシードコ。
まあ、
この試合マイシードと役に立った場面ありましたか？ファセプア
逆にマイシーを機能させなかったオーロラ PH。
シューマイっすね。
Fight fire with water. They said fight fire with fire, but even hotter fire.
And a little bit of water, a little bit of ice. Aurora Gaming brought the full
マイシーは今負けたと思わせてる。あそこに追い込む前提のフレイヤ待機。
Guys, we're well past September. Why bring in Earth, Wind, and Fire? What's with all the element talk here? But my, oh my, Aurora Gaming PH. I have a question for the panel. Is Edward still even human at this point?
Oh.
What the heck was that, Edward? That was one of the craziest individual performance I've seen on the Lapu Lapu.
There's a reason why even the coach of Team Liquid, Coach Tic Tac, when saying, who do you think of when I say Lapu Lapu? He says Edward.
For understandable reasons, man. Like, can you imagine being in Hijime's position, understanding that he must not lose his stacks on the Sky Piercer, forced to early swap out his items in Winds of Nature just to survive in a 1v3 scenario against a full HP Edward. How crazy is that?
That is
What's up?
economic suicide. Legit, he lost so much
なんかさ、
gold just to be
オーロラ
able to make up for
世界一完成されたチーム VS 世界一未完成なチームの戦いみたいな感じがある。
This beats theory. A game theory about this Mizithar. Again, it was high
この
concept. You saw the
この
vision.
マッチアップ
You were scared of the vision. But when it came to the execution, I don't know how many reps Arfi has had on this Mizithar. But I'm sorry, it was glaring. It was there. We saw what happened.
This Vincitar is the room. Until today. Like, it's still not good, right?
王道
It's still not good.
王道 VS 邪道。
You know what I mean?
Hi, Mark.
It's still not good, so until it is.
I mean, I bet viewers out there, you're throwing spoons at your screen right now. I mean, it feels the exact same way when you miss out on really important mechanics that honestly could have changed the laning phase for him had he landed the spear into the King's Glory. And that could have changed a lot of things for the rest of his team members, because let me get this straight, Aurora Gaming, PH, their basics, their fundamentals is rock solid. They figured out extremely quickly, wait a minute, this aggression is coming without no information, so if we just put bombing in the right place at the right time, it's over.
One might say masterful. And here's the thing, it's not just Light who's now able to find those weird angles. Domenkai showed us a little bit of flanking as well, and that's lethal in the hands of a hero like Freya. Our MVP for this game is none other than Edward himself.
6, 2, and 10 on this Lapu Lapu. And in the few King's Callings that looked like it would be a massive threat to Aurora Gaming PH, it was Edward saying, hey, I'm free of it, and I still got my land shaker ready to go. I'm saving my flicker for the counter set, and I will get it. 6, 2, and 10.
フレイヤタイムに来なかったらマイシーやらんと思う。
Eventual wipeout of Aurora at the center. Edward buying time actually was great for Aurora. Instead of falling back, that meant that Alter Ego couldn't get as many turns as sooner as they could have.
I mean, honestly, what really stands out to me from Aurora, and yes, you did bring up some good points, because it really does come down to the positioning of where these fights were going to occur, because AE did not care about choke points. They were caring about how much impact they could get out of their plays, and that costed them so very much. And I'm going to make an argument here. Again, so many good moments where you're catching multiple people, but it's not inside the King's stalling, and that's something that they need to be really hyper aware of.
And I think that's a major symptom of Alter Ego's draft. I'm not so sure if there was enough time
この試合も全然あったけどな。
space for our casters to cover it, but now in hindsight, my diagnosis is this lineup requires way too much of a 1-2. It requires too much of a, as Trek said, the shake and bake. You can't have a Ricky Bobby without Kyle Naughton Jr. So how do you find the combo when Aurora is so busy being in your face, dealing this kind of damage, setting up these flanks, and I'll tell you now, AE had their moment, but if it wasn't for Nino jumping up and, you know, scooping himself up on a silver platter up there, would be a different story.
Yeah, the jump by Nino was questionable at best. Here you can't fault our Alter Ego because this was just really great positioning by Dom and Guide. You know what this performance of Aurora reminds me of? Not the Death Ball RSG Philippines, but the RSG Philippines that love to flank. If it's not Light, it's Eman back in the day. And now it was Light and Dom and Guide, but this time on a fighter as well. So it's good to see Aurora channel back to some of the roots of where these players came from, those playstyles. And that was, again, to call back to the history of MLBB Esports, one of the beautiful things about the old RSG Philippines was that, yes, they have this structure, but sometimes when they get out of that structure, it's actually so annoying to deal with because you have no idea where the biggest threats are coming from.
Exactly, and that's why our AE needed to get an early lead in the laning phase personally. Like level 5, level 6, they should have already been able to consecutively win multiple fights, but I think that what Aurora had ahead of them was the fact that they had future sight, right? They understood, we're playing Flying Clouds. If you want to capitalize on our jungle, well, good luck. We're going to make you pay the brass tacks, and we saw that happen on multiple different occasions. Now, when AE loses that tempo and loses the ability to say, hey, we fight here, right now, that's when you see Aurora play push and pull with the Lord, because that's the only place that they could fall into the King's Calling and die.
And I think this is what was started in the early game. Alter Ego wanted to take resources away from Demon Giant and Aurora. They had Aetherize. Aurora had the counter spell. They answered the aggression of Alter Ego early on and stopped them from taking resources.
Thinking about how this could have been different, if there is something I might say about Alter Ego, I like Nino's XP Sora. This is a tanky Sora. Say what you will about it not dealing enough damage to take down even possibly the easiest, well, I don't want to say easiest target, but an important target, a premier target in Aurora's Cho, the hero that Light was using to really annoy and check range for AE. I think there's a place and a time for a tank Sora. I can appreciate it, it's just not this lineup, not wherein you need to perfectly get that Torrent Thunder kind of juggle, where all the heroes are also kind of thinking the same thing, like, where do I find the perfect King's Calling? Do I call Barbiel now? Do I jump in with the ult? Should I traction pulse here? Should I jetpack away? It's just a little too much mental load.
Yeah, it was too complex, I guess, for Alter Ego. With the draft, they decided to show up. Again, if you look at it in the sense of if everything falls in line, Aurora Gaming Philippines is not going to have a good time.
I don't know about whether or not this is what you guys are mentioning as in, oh, it's too complicated. It's not that complicated. You just have to press a bunch of ults on one guy, right? It doesn't even have to be 5 people. If you do it just to one person in the earlier stages and play towards the gold lane rather than fighting for these neutral objectives when you clearly can't have control over it, I think that's when you put Aurora in a hostage situation and then you have to negotiate.
It's the equivalent of watching Interstellar when you're EP. Like, I just want a movie to fall asleep to, and you decide to watch Christopher Nolan's Interstellar.
Yeah, at that point, Alter Ego just needs to bring out Rush Hour, man. Something that is great, might keep you awake, but you can fall asleep to it because you've probably seen it like 100 times. And something we've done 100 times is thank our friends. And we're never going to get tired of thanking our friends. Of course, the real me. You guys keep taking it away from me. I can never get my hands on it.
It just appeared in my head. I don't know. It's pretty crazy because check it out. The AI insights from the Realme 15 Pro, it has a win rate prediction. It can analyze the gold, items, everything in real time. It's like having a strategic coach in your pocket. That's the AI gaming coach for you. But it doesn't stop there. When the fight breaks out, its consecutive skill features lets you unleash a perfect preset combo with just one tap. It guides your strategies and elevates your execution. That's a full AI-powered edge. From predictions to performance, it's the complete package. You play, we carry. Realme 15 Pro M7's official gaming phone.
Get your hands on that phone now if you want to excel in your games, if you want to play pro level style MLBB, get that. But
解説のこいつらは強いんかな。
purchase it first. Why don't you get Visa with you? And of course, we got our wonderful friend V back here on stage. I am not V. This is V.
Yeah, over here.
Okay, there you go. That's the mascot.
Right here. This one. Get a zoom on in this one, all right? Meet V, our cheerful little buddy. All right, there you go. Surprise! He's here at the M7 World Championship to cheer us all. Ain't he cute? Sometimes we call him V-chan because he's very kawaii. But when you know V is fluffy, blue, heart-shaped entity, none of that matters. Sometimes he even gets mistaken for a cloud because he floats. Everywhere. Bring Visa's vision of being everywhere you want to be.
この解説の人たち、レジェンドだよ。一応、言っとくと。殿堂入りした人たちが解説に回ってる。
欲しくなっちゃうね。
brother, that first match was something else. I
誰よ。
can't wait to see what else these two show.
知らん？うん、こんな感じの喋り方らしい。このマスコット。
Honestly, he has a lot more strong opinions than I thought he was. I thought he was supporting both teams, whether they're winning or losing. But if we're talking about winning and losing, you have to look at your friends deep in their eyes and say, hey, the MLBB Rising Open or the MRO Season 5 is coming back. It's still open for everyone and flexible to join. So now, with major upgrades, earn hero power from victories based on your weekly champion rank. And team up with friends to form a 5-player team to compete. Rewards are stacked. Win or lose, earn MRO coins to redeem permanent skins, exclusive avatar borders, and more. Climb the weekly championships to qualify for the championship. Win bigger prizes and keep the M7 passion alive.
All right, in and out of the game, we got the great events coming at you, of course. We also have the carnival here.
青い人形つばでベトベトしてそう。
Everything happening in the game, so a lot of excitement. And that was an exciting start to this series, dare I say. Even though it was a little bit more Aurora Gaming PH sided, we did see some crowd hyped up moments for Alter Ego with that turnaround that they got. But again, a reminder for Alter Ego, when you're going up against a team like Aurora Gaming PH, you cannot get too overzealous thinking if you're going to get a great set. If you're that close to the base, with Aurora having the lead, you cannot take that jump.
I love how early on in this series, as we learned like 3 or 4 games into the first, a single mistake is punishable by a wipeout and game loss. That is the consequences of playing in the upper bracket and, you know, playing at this level of MLBB esports. Like, again, 1 match away from locking in for the grand finals after you win this.
It's a higher standard that they're playing at, and that's something that all teams need to keep in mind. There's no underestimating your opponents anymore. You really have to take advantage of the small things that are happening in the game. But I feel like AE, they're hungry for it. That's why everything is so messy.
Yeah. That's the first game they dropped. This M7 World
ホムさんはいつここに立つんですか？
second place team coming from Indonesia with the hopes of
まあまあまあまあまあ。
glory on the world stage. I want to hear more about their story, so let's watch this together.
Hoki, ya hoki simpelnya beruntung kawan-kawan. Jawaban template dari para pro player, kebanyakan pro player di Indonesia ya. Jadi kalau ditanya kenapa tadi bisa menang, hoki.
Cuman kan namanya AE mode hoki ya, jadi ya kita lihat dulu sih hokinya gimana sih. Cuman kalau gue pribadi gue berharap banget soalnya Indonesia menang maupun AEK maupun Onyx sih.
Pertama kali harusnya pas di final sih, karena pas Alter Ego dapat tiket M Series, CEO-nya bilang itu hoki.
Kita tuh playernya gampang besar kepala, jadi kayak kita habis menang, kita egonya tinggi kan pasti. Nah jadi sebisa mungkin kita bilang itu hoki, bukan karena kita jago gitu.
I think my player is kinda unique. We can say like anomaly, a lot of anomaly in our team. Yeah, different personality, weirdo or anything. It's hard to explain. Yeah, so it's kinda tough.
Khusus Alter Ego jangan dipuji, pokoknya dia hoki. Alter Ego masuk M Series hoki, di Swisted hoki, menang 3-0 dari tiap matchnya hoki. Hoki harus dibarengin sama skill dan pengetahuan tim Alter Ego juga sih.
Menurutku setelah mengalahkan Onyx, kita itu 50-50 luck and 50 skill.
Yang gue lihat sih ya mereka lumayan beda lah sama yang kayak di
grand final MPL kemarin lah, mereka lebih disiplin, terus dari draftnya juga unpredictable. Di M7 ini kayak dikit lah mereka blundernya, terus kayak mereka tuh berani banget perang-perang gitu sih yang gue lihat, kayak tanpa ragu, kayak pede banget gitu.
Mereka kayak berapi-api lah, pengen banget internasional juga, apalagi mau juara, mau balas dendam juga ke Onyx, sama mau buktiin lah, pengen banget membuktikan diri mereka tuh jago.
Emang kompetisi tuh hoki, jadi kadang tuh ngumpul punya pemain terbaik atau tim terbaik belum tentu juara gitu. Jadi belum tentu juga bisa qualified ke M Series. Dibutuhkan hokinya. Cuman kalau
1試合目終わっちゃいましたが、ブス、ロラ、どっち勝利予想ですか？
アルタエゴ。あっ。
Semoga kita semua, apalagi terutama yang bermain di panggung M7 ini bisa memberikan performa yang terbaik, khususnya buat Nino. Jangan kecewain gua, No. Apalagi Kodel, Win.
当たったらまたスパチャあるのかな？
Buat tim AE, lu pada main sebisanya kayak biasa aja dengan lepas, soalnya lu menang juga tergantung hoki. Betul ya? Siapa kita? Siapa kita? Alter Ego!
Gotta appreciate Alter Ego and the Alter Champs embracing what could have been ammo towards them. They just said, yeah, okay, man, we're lucky.
But you know what they say about luck? Luck is when skill and opportunity cross. And again, with a loyal and rabid fan base such as the Alter Champs behind them, again, we're throwing back to Singapore. Early 2021, again, 5-6 years ago, wherein Alter Ego came up to the world stage, and if I'm not mistaken, Alter Ego was then Rennie Sports, who would then become eventually the champions' biggest rival.
Yep, it was one of those few matchups that you just couldn't wait to watch happen. But they also didn't have the Alter Champs in the arena to support them, so this is why we're seeing such a different side of Alter Ego. The many faces, of course.
Yeah, so which face, which mask do we get to see this time around? There are 3 masks, and maybe if you play around with the masks a bit too much, it might just end up becoming a sweep. So the first mask apparently was Minsithar. What's the second one gonna be?
You know what? I think even that game had several masks. I'd like to consider the Guinevere as another. There's a few other safe, quote-unquote, roamers, but instead they went straight for the one that had the good 1-2. But if you can't catch the 1-2, you're kind of left there dying often. So I dare say, stick to a max of 1 cheeky mask.
1 cheeky mask? I don't know, because it feels like if you have 1 cheeky mask, people like Light, Domenkai, or Demonkai in this particular case, if he happens to get a utility jungler, is looking to disrupt the Trigger Man in the first place, right? Anybody looking to initiate usually gets gunned down by Yue. And I think that's why AE is making sure that they are looking for diverse angles to kind of keep AE on their Aurora on their toes, right? Look at your back, look in front of you. You don't know which way it's coming from.
So it's Gila or nothing. That sounds dangerous.
Hey, that sounds lucky to me.
Well, going up against a team like Aurora, how Gila can you get up until you reach that boiling point of can you actually stop this team? We did see shades of hope, though, of course, from Alter Ego with what they were able to get in terms of wins within the game, but they just could not get that big win to completely turn things around. Actually, no, I have to correct myself. They got that win, but then decided to get greedy and get another win, which eventually got turned in front of them.
Yeah, and I think if anything needed to change, it's just the fact that the cycling of their abilities, their ults take forever. I mean, this including Sora, but Minsithar, for an example, Leomord as well. There's a decent amount of waiting time.
Traction Pulse.
Traction
If
Pulse.
you miss,
Yeah.
if you miss is kind of left out there.
He's going to wilt eventually. And that's why whenever we see Aurora take these fights, just look at their ults real quick. Look at how many resources they actually still have. They're hyper-patient because they know AE usually is the one who likes to try to stretch out the rubber band.
Yeah, and that's something we have to credit Aurora for again. They always had those extra battle spells, that extra bit of dash, or that
ゴールドプレイやって対面誰が正解なんだろう。
turn the fight later.
いやー、マンシータウンでしょ。
That we don't count and you can't get in the draft or in a pre-game prep is those weird angles. More often in game 1 than AE could have Aurora just had this weird way of getting behind them. I think if Alter Ego invested in a hero or heroes that could get more vision more reliably, then they can avoid that. That's definitely one way that they lost this game. If ever, that was the way they legit lost this game, via that flank by Dominkite.
And it's not just an Aurora thing too. I think it's a Filipino thing wherein we always have an ace up our sleeve, ready to swipe a victory for ourselves.
Well, then that's why you have the two different the LPH and Aurora PH, where Aurora is one of the plays as their name goes, like liquid. You gotta flow. You gotta make some preemptive calls. And they realized that AE was doing that 9 out of 10 times. Let's take advantage of it. Come at us. We already have that flank angle. But now AE, if they're going to try and take that initiative again, they need ults that come back up quick.
Going to broken walls, hence why still Alter Ego would want to ban out the box shot. That would have been extra more annoying to deal with. While, funnily enough, a hero that puts up a wall for himself, well now a rampart, in broken walls is actually one of the best heroes for this map. So that's a good ban here for Aurora.
Well, they also get rid of the guard. Oh, Freya on the red side. Does that mean that Aurora wants to kind of keep AE in check here? I mean, it feels like no matter what, it's going to be like a sore opening, but Valentina this time is still wide out.
Ooh, I like how Aurora's approaching.
まあ、ジャングルゲーナーそれからなんかな。
Even without Valentina, what else is left?
So it's still going to be a Sora for Alter Ego, or are they going to switch things up around? Switch up the mask that they're wearing.
Okay.
Go for a little bit more standard. Eva's open.
Kalia is open.
Kalia is open.
Ooh, you know what? I like the former. I didn't even notice. Go for the Eve.
Yeah. Considering that they banned the Claw, it makes sense.
There we go. Alright, got him. Really nice. Now Sora answer the Yisui Shin Farsa.
I don't think it's a bad idea, but at the same time, you could be looking for options like Kalia, for an example, for light, and then after that, get the Yishin Shin and kind of, you know, let AE develop their draft a little bit more.
So Farsa Kalia. So you get that combo.
Yeah. I feel like Farsa, I think, is a solid base to hold on to. It's not going to be that. They still go with Joe YS. Similar picks for Aurora as the last game.
And I'm thankful, because there's so many times when we see Light get his hands on the clear, it's like all or nothing. But with the Cho, there's a little bit more leeway with getting in and out of the fights and really positioning yourself well. Now, AE on the opposite side, we have access to the RWM. We're not with the Sky Piercer. We're on top of actually having the Hilda as well to try and disrupt Demon Kite in his jungle pathing.
Yeah, I like the readjustment here by Alter Ego. Same idea, but this time different picture. Hopefully not too cheesy a pick for RP. They can go solid here depending on the picks of Aurora. I mean, the Harith is still an option because it pairs up really well for an Eve, and you have a Leomord with it already, so you don't have to worry about it being the only carry.
And I also like that there's less stress on Alec. He played the Guinevere in game 1.
多分別人じゃね。ボールは水系だよ。
Same with the show. Even if you're not winning and you're not as aggressive, there's a lot of things you can do. Provide vision, check in on certain lanes, maybe even threaten a kill if you have just as much economy to build a casually in the mid game. I think this is a good start.
It's a good start for both sides, but I feel like right now AE is a bit on the back foot, right? On the second half of the banning phase, I'm exploring like Aurora have kind of set themselves up for a potential double fighter lane. AE, I feel like they want to lean back into a traditional marksman for Arfi. That's one small synergy if he goes for something that's physically inclined. That way he can take advantage of the armor reduction from specifically the Hilda. But then it's really awkward.
I'm so big of a happy guy.
There's Joe, I have to take Purify, and that's an easy Harith.
Happy birthday.
Interesting decision here by Aurora. There's no thinking that this Hilda could suddenly go into the EX late for
Not the worst. Well, it makes sense because they haven't revealed what Edward's playing too. So they just want to be open.
カレーなパン、ヒルダーサイトにも置けるから。
So the Uranus, actually the Uranus would have been perfect here for Aurora. So another good block by Alter Ego. Still, they could lean towards Edward getting a dive.
バレンティナ消せ、バレンティナ。
I mean, yes, he can still get the.
これバレンティナ版でしょ。
What would be the cost? Does it mean they have to get rid of like things like Esmeralda?
It is gone already.
Oh yeah.
Alter Ego banned it earlier.
X プヒルダやりそう。確か
Blue
に。
maybe? No, that's not going to be enough. He's definitely wanting to go for Lapu Lapu, which means that Nino is thinking, how do I get to the back line? I mean, he can still play Yuzong, worst comes to worst, right?
パレード
So it's like they're shoehorning this Hilda into the role.
何を警戒してんだこれは。
Which is why they banned out the Kimi here. Yes, we saw the Kimi versus Lamord matchup earlier, and it did not fare well for Aurora Turquia. But those were
マジで全くわからん。
the other side. This time, if it is a Hilda forced into the roam, the Kimi would be great because you can slowly pepper down her health and then force her back. The Arlot, this is actually a very good read by Alter Ego. Would have messed up the more honest approach that Alter Ego has drafted so far.
So they're more willing to run themselves into the Lapu Lapu.
Yeah.
They're looking at Aurora saying, let's do that again, Mr.
毎
MVP.
シー
Let's
ズ
do
ンし
that
ない
again.
のありえない。
What if it
うー
ends
ん
up the Alice
ゾーン
Edward as the last pick?
アルタイゴゾーン取りたいよなこれ。
Damage profile isn't right. The Clouds already got. Now they
カ
have
ビス
Harith as well. Wait. There's gonna be a Fulvius for Alter
ゾ
Ego.
ーン
I mean, there's a really good reason actually to play the Fulvius. Don't get me wrong.
シーフ
Point, unless he's willing to make that pivot, it really depends on our feet right now. Looking at the goal lane, it's like, hey, sir, you either play a fighter and maybe win the lane, or you get the Granger and you're going to get.
空取ってどうぞっていう謎の圧。
I think the Granger Eve with a Hilda.
ファイターかと思ったらハリスか。
Theoretically, a Fulvius is a good front.
Yeah, even if that is difficult for the Granger, they need the extra damage support to make this Leomord count.
The Lamord is going to be the sweeper.
ゾー
They
ン
get the Yuzong in the EXP lane.
なんだあるレンジャー。
Ranger, they don't go for the Fulvius. They want a little bit more crowd control and high impact. They go for the Yuzong. Last pick here for Aurora.
Which I like, is fits the Alter Ego playstyle. I don't want them to go 50-50.
But now, I'm really vibing with the Alice, but that's a lot of magic damage. You might need a bit more physical.
Well, honestly, what else do you have? What other options are better, right? We need something that's
確かに。
heal that helps like
あと
three
は
of our squishies on top of our initiator, who isn't considered to be the tankiest in that role.
Alice or Lapu.
I lop back to Lapu, just get the DR when
ハ
you
ン
can
タ
just
ー
go
さんもい
Alice
た
and
か
have
ら
like,
そ
oh,
れで
I'm
暴れ
never
て
gonna
くれ
die.
よもう。
But it's going to be Aurora.
ゴリゴリのアリーですね。
Early to mid,
アリス
the damage profile is
空バンピックされんかった。
Demonkind. That's it. That's the only physical that they're looking for. But I'm afraid that this demands too much economy.
That is actually a good point. What if Aurora doesn't even get to the point where their own Alice is going to be a problem? What if Alter Ego ends up taking control of the early game? But they do have a Joe and
空
Kimi,
譲
so
りあって
vibe
ど
here.
っちも受け
Which
取ら
line
な
are you
か
guys
っ
going
た。
for?
My
笑
vibe is leaning a little towards AE because this depends on their laning phase. If their laning phase doesn't go well, Rora will take full control.
They have the timer, the 0 and 2 under 5 minutes timer on the Yuzhong. So with that said, I'll be a little more optimistic. Maybe Rora's got this.
I'm leaning towards Rora, but I'm watching out for RP
さ
on
っき
that
の試合
Granger,
で空
man.
大
He
丈
was
夫
a
そうや
menace
なっ
with
て
the
判断されたん
season
かな。
16, and he might show the world and let the world see him on that Granger. Game number 2 of Aurora versus
意外と初めてかも。
どちら好みですか？
and Trex.
うーん。
意外と初めて。
We're ready.
空く
Aurora
の。
Gaming start things off 1-0. Alter Ego now need to make a statement to try to even things out, Mirko.
Yeah, think about the
なんかどっちも微妙だな。
Me and Sheffin started calling him the Granger Merchant. Then he pulled out every random goal laner you
アルタイゴね、全体的にいいんだけど、ヒルがあんま好きじゃなくて。
were not familiar with your game. So now that he's back on the Granger, it's actually interesting.
ヒルだっていいキャラ自体があんま好きじゃないから俺。
After last game, they tried the mid to
に対して赤チームもね、
solo kill Domeng having the flicker early.
Speak of the devil, Arfi already making plays.
あんまなんかパッとしねえよ
I
な。
really like this Hilda. I think this is something that's going to give Alter Ego the ability to be as aggressive as they wanted to be last game. They can get into their face, they can steal camps like what we just saw, and it's going to give Yasuke the freedom to also move into enemies.
さすがに強えな。
The winning lanes. We're already talking about
ヒルだいぶ、
definitely oh
レオモルド。
even down below Nino with a petrify.
両サイドはしかもアルタイゴが勝っている。
At least Demonkind will be able to go up top to cancel out free gold crab take for RP. But again, for Alter Ego, now they have 3 winning lanes to play around.
Yeah, I mean, 3 winning lanes, a winning river, a winning map at that at this point, and it feels comfortable for them. This is what I think they wanted to bring last game, but they just didn't have the draft I like the YZ pick as well. It's going to work great with this
で
RW.
ニノが先処理して、
世界村ジュークソファーム早いな。
うわ惜しい。これはアルタイゴ優勢。最序盤のタートル戦。ゾンもいるし、イスンシのアルトも切らせて、さすがにオーロラはオブジェクトアステ。いや、多分これアーリーゲームで終わるな。
Use it earlier. Throwing a ruin of the flicker combo into the back line as Nino gets cooked by the G Kundo. Alec, gun down. Yue picking up the kill. RWN there. Whoa, burst through Edward. Nino though gets the a lot of damage on a demon kite. It takes him out.
ニノ。ニノお前どんだけ行くんだ。
Through Aurora Gaming Philippines. Now this is the start that Alter Ego.
あそこでゾーン下がらず石化当てに行くっていう判断がな。ゆずけゆずけ
Kundo, but he's all good. Yue doesn't deal nearly enough damage to really threaten Yazuke right now.
As I was saying in that previous fight, it felt like Aurora Gaming had the advantage. Nino, even getting low, the AE were able to kind of back off and then re-enter into the fight and turn it into their own hands. Yazuke with the steed is feeling.
ヤズケちょっと危ういよな。なんか死にそう。
ニノハホニック内定かな。
And at this point, it's surprising that the lead isn't higher. I really thought it would be higher at this point, knowing that they were able to take the
1
purple
試合
buff
目のデジャブになりそうで怖かった。
Could flicker out now to Phantom Steed now over on light. Could Mountain Shocker to disengage and we get to check the items.
Taking a look at the
That's it. That's it. That was it. We got a glimpse.
Only get to check those things. Remember that.
You blink and you miss it. If you don't remember it, it's your fault. Skill issue, bro.
Nobody's hit a full item yet, though. Yazuke
一人がとんでもない。
has gotten what maybe
なん
looks
か
like the
一瞬のプレイにいろいろ詰め込まれまくってるよね。
Hunter strike.
Yazuke?
Yazuke.
Yeah. He's going for the war axe. I
ヤズケお前また行くのか。
Wait a second, though. Black Dragon to the backside.
Interesting. There's a petrify on Yue as well. Gonna go for the all-in under turret. Nino.
ニノでもそれはさすがに。
Stampede from Yazuke. Away the dragon to go for it there and disengage Nino taken down by Demon Kite. It's 1 for 1.
ニノさすがに攻めすぎやないこれ。
Not a bad trade overall, but at this point, now Nino's on the clock. You know?
Yeah.
One more death, and that's a wrap. You're just a linebacker at this point.
Is Nino a carry or is he a linebacker though, right? Because I think he can play both roles depending on the situation. But the thing is, the turtle was spawning. There was no reason for them to do all that, you know? Like they were doing too much.
いや、意味わかんないところでずっと当たってるよね。
Just want to make sure. All right. Second turtle of the game. Edward holding down the front line. Can Alter Ego break through?
Oh, throw to ruin, zones him away. The RWM comes down, but it's not going to be enough damage right there. His life's going to be taken very low. Arfi, with the help of Ijume, Void blasts him to the ground. So it's a turtle for a kill, but it's a kill on light.
オーロラはいかに戦闘を拒否できるかって感じだね。
No man, dashing throughwards. Oh, has to.
Yeah.
He saw Ijume, he saw a glimpse of Ijume. He's like, yeah, nah, I ain't handling all that smoke.
And Nino takes a tower on the boss side, though. The first tower of this series so far. Possibly a second on top unless UA can do something about it.
Arfi goes for the Rhapsody instead, wants to just clear it out. Knows he has another wave that is going to come through.
イルダ死んだかと思ったけどね。
Inevitable.
ちなみに来てるわ。
It is the War Axe for Yazuke. Right after the Fury Hammer, he went for the War Axe path. That's why I was unsure, like, is he actually going for Heptases? Probably not. War Axe, and there it is. So just to get him a little bit more physical penetration before he gets the War Axe.
And on the other side, Aurora Gaming, defensive items into the hands all around. Skypiercer also coming in for Arfi. He hasn't gotten a kill yet on the board, but with the pace that things are going for Alter Ego, it feels good.
急したらバフもらえるんかってくらい目の前の敵に攻撃してる。
Yep, Alec with the power of wilderness straight onto Demon Kite. Traction pulse will lock Yazuke down, but there's no one to follow it up, and Yazuke gets the retry on the orange before Demon
いやー、マジでユーズ系怖いな。
This is exactly what Aurora Gaming was hoping wouldn't happen. This is what they were able to stop last game.
Yep.
ヒミのウルトかわす素振りすら見えんかったわ。
Second turtle, third turtle could be huge. This
今日意味わからんくらい寒くない？よく玄関で配信してるね。
今日マジ寒い。
10-minute mark, First Lord, Alter Ego just need to keep on hitting the gas if I'm them. Keep on stealing purples, keep on stealing oranges. Don't let up.
ドキドキするわ。敵ジャングル入り込んでるとき。下を流さずにタートルを触る。
もう3キロ坂。
Goes for the steed, and I don't think Aurora will want any more smoke after using those resources. A petrify from Nino, but a good flicker out from Edward.
Very well done by Alter Ego.
Second, chasing the Eastern Shin
やっぱ
down.
押してるときは自陣のジャングルじゃなくて敵陣にめっちゃ入り込もうとするね。
Down the mid side as well, uses the K, wants 1v1 as well. Just across the map, they're throwing hands, they're ready.
自陣のジャングルにも目をくれず敵陣に入り込んでる。
So far behind, he can't win any 1v1s. Against the Granger, I think he's cooked. Against the Eve, probably same. Against the
水
Hilda,
系が戦闘強すぎるから仕方なくロームヒルダ取った感じ。
イスンシンは逆に敵陣を狙いに行く。
on the other side, farming the jungle, but because of that, they lose so much tempo. And Alex able to bait out the Zaman force of all things. Flickers out to safety. At least Demon Kai. Oh no.
抜きの技術。
See?
お互いが抜き抜き成人だからね。
It was seen by the turret. That's why Alter Ego move bot. That was a bit scary.
Now, you mentioned Edward on the Alice earlier.
Yeah.
I do agree. I want to see Edward on something aggressive. I want to see
Damage
Edward on
dealing.
something, damage dealing. You look at some of the EXP laners in the Philippines, Sanford, Edward, these
ちゃん
guys
と
can
いなして
make
る。
plays happen. And you don't want to put them on something passive like this. Give them something proactive.
Again, Alec the back line.
なんか裏で戦ってる。
Stack for free as Edward jumps around. Blinking back to the turret. RWM. Oh, so much damage from Hijume. But not nearly enough to zone them away.
うわ、ちょっと行きたい。
Aurora, despite this big lead for Alter Ego, they're standing their ground, man.
A slight misplay from Alec there. Going too deep, not knowing exact. I mean, yes, you have the gold lead, but you can't just jump into their face under towers like that. You still need to keep it smart because you catch one Mount Shocker to the face, and it's GG's. Now, Domin Kite is going to end up possibly being one of the saving graces here.
Yeah.
He's got 2 items in. I still think he needs one more. You've got the feather. You've got the
Holy Crystal.
Holy Crystal.
Next. Oh, the next one. Starlight
Starlim
Scythe.
Scythe.
Yes,
And then
yes,
he
sir.
already has Starlim Scythe. We're coming into Holy Crystal. Once he has that, the damage might just pull through. But that's a while out.
Yeah. It is going to be a while. Oh, good petrify. Yue forces the flicker out before the fight even starts. Now the Black Dragon forces the throw to Ruin, goes to the back line, but Yuzuki gets blocked by the way to Dragon.
Yasuke able to take out Edward and get the Lord.
Yuzuki was locked, but it doesn't matter, Nino! On 2, 1 swing and a tail, and it's 2 members down. What's 2 plus 2 Trex?
あ、今の環境マジでおもろいな。いろんなキャラが活躍してる。ゴールドレーンはもうなんかお疲れ様って感じやけど。
Make it 6 and 7 with the small camp. Look, they're gonna leave
that one. It's
the 6.
The 6 lives were lost in
Not
that
7.
battle.
Maybe minions. Do we count minions?
No,
Trex?
no,
minions.
those aren't people.
Minion. Whoa. Minion lives don't matter. Okay. Let's take a look at item builds real quick again to see exactly how they dealt that much damage. Yuzuki.
りょうさん強いね。
I could have sworn he was locked down. He got up.
マイヤもアップして待ってるよ。
Nothing at all. Alter Ego Esports with a 7,000 gold lead are going to crash into this space. And honestly, taking a look at the Wargaming's composition,
イブ触
they
診
don't。have any range. Yes, they can
二
clear
度も
waves.
タク
Yes,
少
they
な
can
くない
shred lords, but they
まず
put
に体が
themselves
気を
at
つだ
risk
し。
while doing that.
あーまあでも意外と
And all it takes is one big dive.
構成によっちゃ卓いろいろあるしね。セームもまあいける。セーム、イブ、キミン、触診。勝ちて優先してるチームもあれくらいだしな。
Go down, but wait a second. Edward falls. Hijume picks it up.
Man, the turret juggle was perfect. It was first Alec, then we thought it was
ちょ
Nino.
っとイブが頭にこのけてんな。
Okay, on the horse. Who took the turret shots?
The tower goes down. Alter Ego got what they came for. More jungle stolen and another wave coming
Trex.
down the top.
No Trex, they
They
came
want
for more. Absolutely, they want more. Look at how low that turret is up
意
top.
外と三角関係感はあるけどな。
グループマッチだとサイクロが一番上手
イブは
よ。ほとんどの試合でいるからね。
イブが触手に対してついて、触手は触手イブファニーの三角関係みたいな。
He's still waiting. It's coming. Don't worry. Eventually,
The stacks were promised to him.
they were promised to him long ago. Written in stone.
Lisan Al-Gaib. It was in the
特殊やってる君。
the Granger Merchant prophecy of MPID. But he's no longer a Granger Merchant, so that's unfair.
The great ego himself.
The great ego himself. With a little bit of esports.
Little bit of esports.
いいね。
Meanwhile, though, Yue, he got, I think,
普通の
one
ピックし
Sky
てる
Piercer
から
sack?
普通に勝てそう。
But then
Got
he
one and
died,
they
so it's
took it
like-
away.
they took it away from him.
He's got seven stacks.
6 or 7.
6 or 7.
But Alter Ego
さすがに1試合目はね、ゆず系攻めすぎたよな。
Yes, they have
あれは。
Gaming Philippines, they have really good clear.
Oh, Holy Crystal. Finally, but is it too late?
I think that delays the power spike a bit, right? The enemy team is 10,000.
やず系とやず系。
You might have to wait for Divine Glaive before the power spike actually hits.
やず系攻めっ気たっぷりやからな。もうちょっと押さえてもらうな。
Black Dragon from the back. Oh no, Yue! Can you run away? It's Nino flying around now as Izuke gets on the steed. But Barbiel ain't fast enough.
He ain't fast enough.
ここはこれ、アリスが、あ、来た。やばい、うわー始めた。逆襲。がしかし、うまくいなして、返されて。
やり返す準備ができてきてそう。
It's now RP with a triple kill. And he's looking for more. One that's Sonata.
やばい。
RP gets a maniac.
やば、完成。
Now gonna move in. And RP.
なんか返せそうな雰囲気あったけどね。
It's just Demon Kite
あ
left.
る日いつもうま
Pops
い。
in the Mountain Shocker. Alec tanks up the turret. And they go all in, even under the fountain. It's 1-1.
遠すぎて誰も合わせれん。
Alter Ego.
ん
Tied the series.
待って、ニーノマジでボスにしてね。
This is only game 2 of the knockouts.
インドネシアホームバスあるのずるい。
あんながっちゃった。
The stadium feels it. And I think us casters feel it as well.
きっちりアリーで締め
Gideon,
た。
Leo, how we doing?
I'm feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it too. Alter Ego. They take the condition. We pose the question: what if it actually gets to the point where the Alice is not a problem? And it definitely happened. It did not get to the point where it was a
さっきの
problem.
マイシーウルトでこ
Alter
の試合
Ego,
勝てた。
Nino, leading the charge.
スワグ今回
Was
の
too
大会で
expensive to
解
line
散
up,
マ
I'll
ジ。
tell you now. We were waiting for that third
マ
item.
ジで
リールのビジュアル。
Demon Kite
解散はしないんじゃない？
He was begging, he was starving for a majority of this very short game in context of how long
さすがに。
the rest of today's matches were. So, again, I think it's Aurora. It's them. It's on them now to say they spent too much time. They were too
最後
confident
の
saying
見
we
て
can
ると
get
プレスでは絵が
I
全
think
然
simply
上だ
put,
な。
there were just not enough winning lanes. And
まあ
when
プレイヤースキルは多分そんな大差ない。
right at level 1, proven wrong that RP, he's still
戦い方でしょ。
I am
あと
so
構成。
impressed with the way that AE finds these insane angles. However, the commitment coming out of AE, similarly to the Alter champs, unwavering. Does it look bad? Do we use a lot of ults? Doesn't
超アーリー構成だったもんね。いや超アーリーっていうか、やっぱ、シリュダーとイルが強すぎた一番。それで崩れてるから。
ハリスピックから不安だった。
It is demanding of any Alice player, no matter how consistent and great they are, to lane up against that Yu Zhong and that big game.
リオモルド、
Yeah, Aurora's lineup
やっぱ
did not
強くね？
the ultimatum of give it 2 deaths before 5 minutes and the big sandworm in the sky is solved.
環境にマッチしてるわ、このアーリー環境。
as he should, because he played that laning phase phenomenally.
序盤主導権取ったの勝ちみたいな。
Completely negate the lane from Alice's side, set the tempo for the upcoming turtle, because by the time he had Black Dragon form, he was like, what, 12 seconds off the Petrify to
レオちゃん
use
最
again?
強。
Let's see who the MVP is. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Nino.
ジャングルバカ速いし、多分めっちゃ速いし、ラストヒットも取りやすい性能。
希望のストレート試合はなくなったね。
Providing all of the space that the rest of Alter Ego needed.
The stacks that were promised to RFE would not
武
have
器2
come
個であと
if
防
it
具で
were
いいの
not
も
for
い
the
い。
efforts of
うん
His Yuzhong early on.
武器はもう上昇だけよ。
も多少して一気
I
に
love
評
how he
価上
would
が
just
ってる。
randomly Black Dragon form, play around in the back line, and if he can combo out, and
あ
then
れ
on his way out, kill somebody with the power of Shou.
確かハンスト積まなかったよな。
Him saying, you know what, I might not be the carry, but I can try.
And I love the way that he's
2の G 笑顔だね。
conditioning all of the weaker, well, softer members from the side of Aurora, like Yue, for an example. He was starting to
めっちゃ悪役顔してるわ。
light recognize, wait, when he's in
守
that
り
Black
たい
Dragon form,
この笑
he's
顔。
Petri in the middle of the air to set up that combo rather than just the furious dive, which is why we saw a lot of preemptive flickers throughout the game. Once that standard was set and the conversions from turtle fights turned into purple buffs, I think it was pretty fairly quick that Roro was like, man, these fights are near
下の
impossible
ス
to
テージ
win.
ってどういう扱いなの？
Glad that Nino
プ
showed
ロは
us
ハン
this
ス
kind
ト
of
と上昇
performance
だっ
because
た。
安系上昇だけあった気がする。
I was in a
だから
fever
ね、ア
dream
ルタ
saying,
英語。
yo, is Yuzhong cooked? Is he just suddenly out of the metagame? Because we saw very little of it throughout the day, and finally, here's one that got an MVP performance.
My sleeper hit for this game was actually Hijume. I brought up earlier about how his already world championship
下は、
country for Indonesia
ああ
IESF 2022 will be a
だからここで勝ったところと、まあ、次 SRG と戦って、で負けたら、でその下位ステージから勝ち上がってきたチームと戦って、みたいな。
固定貫通だけ積んでたはず。
fight changing ultimate to cover any of the
で、
Aurora
決勝戦。
responses. Hijume was great on this EU.
And all of that started in the early game, right? Where Hijime got that initial freeze onto Yue. He could not walk up into the lane anymore. And with the help
で、確
of
か、
Hilda
やっぱ、下位チームから上がってきたチームは、確かハンデがあるんだよね。多分。ちゃんと勝ってきたチームが確か最初から1個持ってるんだっけ、勝ちを。アドバンテージを。
安系インバトと上昇でした。
日本の年末大会は何もなかったけど、確かアドバンテージあったはず。アッパーで勝ち上がったチームは。日本の年末大会は何もなかったけどね。確かこの大会はあるはず。矢付武器積んでた？あ、矢付これ坊主にしてたな。
Well, it certainly helps when they were ahead in terms of gold, right? When you're 2,000 ahead, it feels a lot more comfortable. When you're 10K ahead, it feels like you can do no wrong. And I think in this particular game, it's a good case study for whether or not how much aggression is good and how much value do you get from it ultimately. Because let's keep in mind, Hujime, he was trying to use the RWM to get a T1, right? To deny space from Rora to be able to touch that wave. Luckily, Rora was able to clear it out, but the same impact goes, right? How much impact can that RWM get? And that was the question every single time they 5v5.
Yeah, compounding interest. If this aggression leads to you choking out on economy, we will continue, we will do it. It's just, they were lucky, again, Hockey, that it was more than just compounding interest. It was legit, just sheer value in gold, in EXP, and in blood. 13 to 4 in 13 minutes, that's a kill per minute.
I feel like this is a learning for Aurora, though, that if they decide to lean towards a lineup that is a little bit more counter-focused, it's not going to end well for them. With Alter Ego, the aggression that they show, that once they have that lead, it's hard for them to let go and hard to take it back of your Aurora. If there's one thing that I now want to put under a microscope, it's that Kimi pick at third. We saw the Hilda, we saw the Leomord, and theoretically, the Kimi this time around against an Hilda is, okay, Hilda's charging up at me, I'm constantly peppering it with basic attacks. But then that was already after you saw the Eve. Now if it's Leomord and Hilda plus the Eve, the Kimi value goes down.
Yeah, the Kimi, well,
逆にイブを取り上げれたら熱い。
comes in one direction 90% of the time. And at least when you are playing that traditional front to back, Kimmy gets a lot of value when her passive is up and you can kind of gun multiple people down when they're coming at you. The problem is that, oh man, I gotta give it to them. The mid lane dudes just quickly throw sand in their eyes, duck under the punch, quickly attack the jungle, pull attention, and then they punish the light. Because every time he walks across that map, the brass tax was high. How many times did he actually have to recall throughout those fights? You count, you turn it back
イ
and
ブ
you
と
count.
触診はできん確定だ
Really
ね。
difficult decisions here for Aurora, which led to Alter Ego ending up with a lineup that plays more to their strengths with even more value. I mean, we can't take away from the fact that their game number 1 lineup does play to their strengths, except this time around, it's not so coded with, hey, let's make sure we layer everything really well at the same time. This one is like, we can wait on the real world manipulation. Just throw Barbiel out. It'll be okay.
It's pretty freestyle, and I think that definitely incentivized more fighting. And I guess it's just a nightmare for Aurora that they picked a scaling lineup. They can't afford to do that, not to La Familia.
Yeah. So for Aurora, maybe for the next games, they're going to want to draft the lineup, especially through the EXP lane, having a little bit more impact right away. And maybe this might be a learning also. Don't give Nino the Yuzhong because he's really good at it, especially when he gets the ball rolling. But now it's time for us to get an interview with some very familiar faces in the Indonesian community. And it's time for us, the global MLBB esports community, to learn more about them.
Thank you so much, casters. It's Eterna here in the venue right now. It is now a 1-to-1 between Aurora Philippines as well as Alter Ego. Now, Eterna's here not alone because right now we have Van Strong as well as Rin. So, welcome, boys.
Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome juga. Okay. Van Strong, we want to know, what does it feel like watching from the sidelines and considering
調べ
that
た限りウィ
Alter
ナーズ
Ego was
側に
able
恩
to
恵
come
ないっ
back
ぽいで
here in game number
す。レ
2?
ッドブルーの選択権だけ。
Dari POV gue sih,
Hmm.
gue bisa comeback karena kita udah reset aja sih.
ないんだ。
Yang gue lihat, ya kita kayak nervous aja.
ってことはじゃあ何年末大会と同じ
Kayak tower base lah.
条件ってこと
このチームマジで不良。
マジのやからやん。
They're not nervous anymore. Apparently in game number 1 there were nerves. Kenapa? Apa yang bisa bikin deg-degan? Apakah stage-nya atau karena lawannya? What made the nerves? Was it because it was game number 1 of the stage?
リ
Or
レ
was it because
の
of
髪の毛に
the
何が
against
刻まれ
Aurora
てるんだ
Philippines?
けど。
Gue rasa sih cuma gara-gara first match di stage yang ini sih. Jadi makanya nervous dikit aja.
Okay, so Van Strong mentioned that it looked like there were a lot of nerves because this is a new stage here for the second day of the knockout stages. Now let's go to Rin. Rin apparently can speak English now.
スリザリン。
So he will reply in English.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay, Rin, because you're so good at English, we're gonna ask you here.
めっちゃ
Rin,
熱そ
why
う
is
でく
everyone
さ。
bald?
Karena enak aja nggak gerah.
Oh, okay, because it's nicer, it's not hot. Because I saw in your interview previously with Monica that people said from Alter Ego said that they were all bald because you told them to be bald. Is that true?
Ya, karena saya ingin mengumpulkan jajaran para orang botak dan menjadi baik hati dan tidak sombong.
The Alter champs are going wild. Sir, apparently Rin said that they're all bald and Rin asked everyone to be bald because he wants to combine a line of what? Of bald
Yeah.
soldiers that are humble.
Gold circle.
Bold circle.
Yes.
Soldier.
Yes.
Yes. All right. So what's your design for today? Apa desainnya hari ini?
Apa-apa?
Untuk kamu. Kamu di kepalanya desainnya apa hari ini? What's the
Desainnya
design here?
SpongeBob dan Rata Geng.
The design is SpongeBob. All right. Van Strong, do you think now we're seeing a 1-to-1? Remember, this is a best of 5. Do you think Alter Ego can come back full 3-1?
I'm confident my team will come back lah. Will 3-1.
Oh, okay. Nggak boleh gitu loh.
Oh, Oki.
Hoki.
Game
Cuman
2
hoki.
kita menangnya Oki.
Okay, they won game 2 because of the luck. Don't remember the passive. Remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oki, game 2 Oki.
Game 2 was lucky. They were just lucky. All right, Rin, to close this off, we want to hear your voice. All right. So there's so many altar champs in the building right now here in M7. We want to hear you cheer.
Okay,
You have
okay.
to lead the cheer, okay?
Ready?
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 Semuanya ready?
Alter Champs mana-mana, woi! Pas gue bilang alter ego, kalian bilang go ya. 1, 2, 3. Alter ego! Go!
Keren banget. That was very nice. Thank you so much, Rin.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vanstrong, for this interview. Thank you so much, Alter Champs. Thank you so much because we're going to throw it over back to our casters.
The Filipino, I just want to say, I love that the Alter Champs were inspired by local legend Rufame Quinto with the Go chants, of course. And now they're going wild with a go for Alter Ego as they have tied up the series. And even Van Strong said he's confident that his team is going to be able to seal it up with a 3-1. But we're still going to be going into...
喋り方かわいいな。
Going on? What is that? I would like to propose a new cheer for
Mm.
a new cheer for the Alter Champs. Did you and
どの人
What is it?
Me and Mirko.
この人
Oh yeah, Mirko as well. What is it?
Our Alter Champs. There's a little shoulder dance involved. We're workshopping it.
It will get there. But I think what's so exciting about AE for me personally, as an individual comes from MPL-MY, a lot of their AE members so happen to come over as imports, and I mean they've kind of given a
なん
different.
か小道具用意してないこの人
They're not just about all the pressure. They're pretty
審査員のやつ
and they know the fundamentals enough to break them on purpose, and I think that's the key difference here.
Of course, we know the history as well of the coach of Alter Ego with esports background already. I'm going to M7. That's what he said. And now here he is, and I like the restructuring of the draft, the change of approach. Game number 1,
レジェンドメガネ3兄弟。
Game number 2, balanced out the Gila, and then eventually worked out well for them. So hopefully we get to see more innovation from Alter Ego. While for the side of Aurora, I think now it's their turn to do a little bit of restructuring in their draft decision. I thought we were heading into the draft. That's why I was setting things up this way. But right now, it's time for us to thank some friends. Wish we had our friends here for this one, but we don't. So we're just going to thank Secret Lab first and foremost.
That's right. Play better for longer with Secret Lab's ergonomic chairs used on stage by our athletes. It's trusted by the world's best MLBB teams. Whether you're enjoying a casual game with friends, climbing to Mythic onwards, Secret Lab can elevate your game with tournament-grade ergonomic support, the very same kind that powers the pros on the elite stage.
Man. Right now, I'm actually using the Secret Lab Invisible.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
see?
the foot. No, it's actually the footstool that they. I mean, obviously, it doesn't come with
It's
the chair.
what do you mean footstool? I'm not using a footstool. This is totally height accurate right now.
Yeah, 100%. Quickly pick up the Secret Lab Titan Evo, one of my personal favorite chairs to sit on. Definitely love the GU leather, of course, but more importantly, the ergonomic advantages that
解
you get
説
from
の
it.
一番左の
I like
人
the
好
fact that it's
き
just。all magnetic. It's something that tickles my pickle a little.
Excuse me?
It's
know
his
what I
cup of tea.
Yeah, it is. And you see it on your screens right now, the Secret Lab Titan Evo. So scan the QR code if you want more information on the model. And I love how we get special treatments for the Secret Lab chairs every M series.
Yeah, year in, year out.
Yeah, different color schemes. I wonder if there's some lucky individual out there in the world who just has like every Secret Lab M series collab ever.
Don't look at me like that. I only have like 2. I have 2 out of the.
That's 2 more than I have.
That's.
Sir, we don't even have 1.
Oh, yikes. Well, that's unfortunate for you guys. I'll guess I'll enjoy the benefits for myself because that's not the only thing that I've been enjoying in terms of benefits because one of the few things, and honestly, it's my guilty pleasure, I've been checking out Acecraft. It's a SDG build around adaptability. It's got like a lot of roguelike elements where you have random skills, bullet deflection mechanics, and a retro cartoon style, all designed for fast, skill-driven aerial combat. So, jump into Acecraft right now for some nostalgic fun.
He was playing this whole time.
Oh, no wonder. That's why you keep getting the real memes from us. And you're still in game, man.
Stop! You don't have to tell everybody.
Well, you're gonna lose that if you don't get ahead and play it. But hey, while you're playing Acecraft, well, no, we have jobs to do. Let's talk about the draft now for game number 3. What to expect? Balancing for Alter Ego. Right now, I'm not looking a lot of requirements from Alter Ego. Now I'm looking for what the adjustments will be for Aurora. And hey, there's a little bit another surprise here.
they could refer to the MLBB Academy. It's been fully upgraded. Get personal weekly reports to understand your pacing, strengths, weaknesses, along with complete match history, so every big moment is recorded. You can also rate trending topics and share your perspective. Whether you're tracking stats or joining the conversation, MLBB Academy is where your matches are there for you to watch, and it helps you understand your growth in Mobile Legends Bang Bang. You can check it out on mobilelegends.com/academy.
Thank you to all our friends, and of course to everything that we have available for you as MLBB grows into the phenomenon that it is in 2026 moving forward as well. So now, this actually would have been a smoother transition to talk about the draft. So let's talk about the draft. For Aurora, I think with our conversations earlier, what we're looking for Aurora now is quite simple. Impact for Edward and not taking too long for scale.
And that last point, yes, just to rephrase, respect the economic balance. Like, don't try to cram as much, oh, we need EXP, we need this gold in this little time, assuming that AE is just going to let you do it.
Well, I personally think that I feel like Aurora needs to grow a bigger ego, right? I feel like they need to be like, no, I'm picking these heroes, I'm going to beat you in lane, end of story, because that's honestly what happened in game number 2 for AE side. So it's not like Aurora is bad in any means. Let's just micro them out.
Dare I say, I feel like that game 2 draft was actually them showing a bit of their ego. Them picking up that Kimmy and thinking that, hey, we can win the mid.
Assuming they'll get away with it.
Assuming they'll get away with it. Edward ending up with Alice, even though we've already seen that Yuzong gives Alice a lot of trouble. It's like, you can get away with it.
Yeah.
So now, the ego is there. I think it's, again, what was the statement that you mentioned about economic?
Respect the economic balance.
Respect the economic balance.
I think if they practice too much ego is what would cause their downfall, on the contrary, because again, this team is known to have mastered the basics because, you know, it's upon their coach's name, and they're just so good at the fundamental game that is MLBB. So I'd say, use that, do that.
I think the bigger question they have to answer is how do they deal with these sanctions and tariffs that's supposedly coming from the east side? Every single time they move out of the lane, how many people have to recall? How many people have to pay the tax?
I know what you're talking about. The aggro tax.
Exactly.
If you want to go from lane to lane, get that double wave, guess who's waiting? Daddy Nino. If you want to make sure that your jungle is safe, guess who's checking in? Just throw in random, well, for the most part, magic damage in there is Hichume. So, again, respect that approach that AE is definitely going to bring in.
It's very simple MLB beaters for Aurora. More money, more faster. I think it's the simplest form that we can put it. More money, more faster. Respect the economic balance. Let's see if they're going to do just that for the draft for game number 3. As I'm pretty sure if Alter Ego go into the next one with a match point lead, this crowd is going to be way behind them to making sure that they seal the deal. We go into dangerous grass. I love grass. And now I love the picks that can come out here. Alter Ego might actually want to bring back Hilda as it is great in grass.
Huh. Well, this is interesting. I mean, the Grok is banned out. This time the Fanny Freya alongside with the Leomord is getting banned out. I'm not sure if this is the right approach from the side of Aurora because they are escalating and adapting from game to game with minor changes across the board.
Every ban in blue in the first phase is basically them
taking
reins. Because with these bans, and literally the one ban left for Alter Ego, you know, what's going to be left out there? Kalia, Eve, Farsa, Sora, like all of these high priority targets are coming through, and they're getting a good trade in mid, for sure. Eve or Zushin. I didn't even mention Zushin.
So is Jushin gonna show up now?
I mean, it kind of depends, right?
Gotta be Zushin.
I mean, Yue can play both of them, which is why I feel like it's kind of up to him. Coach is going to be asking him, like, what do you feel into here today? And we'll adjust accordingly. Because no matter what, I feel like on AE side, Hijume has made nasty moves on this Eve. He might get it again, but at the same time, they can set up for the eventual Claude.
So yeah, the Eve is a good thing to consider, but there goes the Juicin. It does go up.
Claude, right? Because again, Aurora already made their bet and said, let's try to give him the Eve. It couldn't be that bad. And I think in their minds, they looked back at game 2 and said, It wasn't that bad. Go for the Zushin.
And there it is. Good call, Gideon. It is the even Claude. As the Freya is no longer an issue here for Aurora. So what's the matchup going to be for Domikite? How does he want to handle this Claude now? Don't tell me he's just going to fall into the carry. He's up against a lineup with an Eve, Ranger.
You want a combo. You want to get, you know, the damage on whoever you slam.
What? Really? The Khalid was going to be the go-to here rather than just exposing the EXP laner early on? But they also get the Harith as well, and I think it's a little more comfortable from Domikite's POV. It's like, yeah, sure, you are in a WM, but as soon as it's gone, that's when I'm going to be running through you.
This is like too hardcore comfort.
触診部水部
The
がまた見
Khalid,
れ
I
る
can make a bit of a weak case for. A case is there, but it's weak. The Harith, I don't know.
I don't like the Khalid this early because it's so easy for Alter Ego to invest in tiny crowd controls to counter the quick sand guard.
Yep. There's a lot of easy ways to kind of deal with it. Valentina
今回は空取った。
feels like they've got this
何の差なんこの空を取る取らないが。
Now, the only thing I think the Khalid is a little
ハリスはな
strange
だろ
here
こ
is
れ
because they could have shown EXP. They could have shown EXP very early on and really hammer it down.
It's a lot strange. It's not just a little strange.
Yeah, I mean, and really just force
イブ
Nino to
触
be like,
診
hey,
って
if you didn't get the
集会
Sora
って
now
両方
or
分け
later
る
down
のあ
the
り
line,
や
you would
な
have to play Sandbag.
Thinking that Aurora decided to go for the Khalid early on because they probably were already thinking, okay, we want fast tempo.
ただ対面だけ見たらイブの方が有利ではある。
Sure. They were probably already thinking that Alter Ego is just going to ban it out in the second phase. Let's go ahead and pick it up in the first phase. I'm not to say that it's the perfect reason to go forward, but that could be the vision that they are going for. Not the biggest supporter of it, but I sort of see what they wanted to go for.
Tough one. It's a real tough one here.
ワカをともうガン決まりしてね。
What else do you have to worry about here? Because it all
これ誰これヤズゲーか。
also just lean into the Fredrin if necessary.
Are they blocking out junglers? Is that what they're looking at this Guinevere as?
I suppose, but
Because there's still no pick on Alec, and we know Alec, you know, at least kind of prefers the Gwyn.
Roam. Where did she match up with Hilda?
Roam in jungle.
I think he goes chill, right?
Yeah.
Gets chill, forces Harith to take the Purify. Same goes for Claude on the opposite. And actually, Claude doesn't need it. There's no hard lockdown besides the Raging Sandstorm, but that's more towards the RWM than anything else. We see an Esme ban up there, real good stuff from AE. Aurora, do they ban the Fredrin here? Are they worried about any potential flexes?
Huh. Yeah, I think maybe utility, because what if they're already eyeing Demon Tide is going to end up playing an Assassin? Baksha God, Grok God, Leomord God, Fanny God. He could just end up falling into... The Lancelot might be a bit tough. Yeah, I think it is looking towards an Assassin for him, either the Lancelot or the Hayabusa.
That's right. They just go Fredrin here, right?
Yeah.
Because if not, why did you ban out Boxia without getting rid of the other utility jungle on purpose?
Yeah.
That might have been a decision made from a different time. Again, we're going to the second phase now.
Oh, the denial of high loss. I like this a lot, actually.
Okay, Alec gets a huge zoning tool in addition to the real-world manipulation.
And now you know that Aurora won't have a roamer with Revitalize or any heal utility. Usually one of the factors you have to look out for when there's a high loss, Gatot, Kalea on either lineups is that can the other roamer match that healing for the rest of the team? Now the answer is no. And I don't think Aurora will have any picks left in the remaining picks to actually match that utility. Unless they shock and go Khalid XP, then pick up a roam still. But
it's been a while.
It's been a while, and it's up against the Sora. Quicksand Guard's not going to be the best. So they go Lapu-Lapu for XP. They need a little bit more time to go with it. They get the Fredrin?
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Somebody was eventually going to get the Fredrin, right? We were all banking on it. I'm just surprised they wanted to go Lapu instead of Uranus here.
Okay. Aurora repaired the economic balance, but I'm afraid that it's not aggressive enough to deal with the current metagame, especially the way Alter Ego plays. But it might just work, because again, it's at least a safer package than whatever they were playing with in game 2.
Okay, the Fredrin will struggle theoretically against the high loss of the Eve alone. But then I think they were playing in the card of, okay, Alter Ego are expecting us to go Assassin. Nope, let's go ahead and pick up the Fredrin, so maybe this time they get forced into the Assassin. Will it be?
Shin? All right.
Shin.
Yeah. That was the only option that they probably go for there. That's still flexible enough and still can actually find space in between in these fights. Oh man, this one's a little interesting, right? Because now they have double divers to actually deal with the Arjun. It's clear that Hijume is the bigger problem.
Understanding of the impact of Hijume earlier, and when we look at the lineup rating, it leans heavily favored towards Rora. It's surprising. Damage profile, not my favorite, but yeah, I'm leaning towards them for this one.
Yep, the fundamentals that you're capable of executing with Aurora's lineup from early, mid to late. I like it. I'm in love. This might just get them to match point.
I'm seeing the way that AE has been playing so far. That momentum should be able to compensate for this. And honestly, if they don't go fast enough, it might just be over.
Game number 3 in this best of 5 series. Two teams looking to redeem themselves in the eyes of the world. Drex, Mirko, say something smart.
Something smart.
Something
Is
smart.
what Mirko and Trex always say as we jump into the land of Dawn. If you're just joining us, it's 1-1 right now between AE and Aurora Gaming. Mirko, we want to see Edward on something proactive. He picks up the Lapu Lapu. My only problem with their draft right now, at least for me though, is this Khalid.
Yeah. The Khalid is, I don't know, for me the Harith is quite questionable as well, honestly, going up against the Claude, right? Like, it isn't a winning matchup for Doming. Earlier, we saw the Granger versus Harith. We saw level 1. It was great for the Granger. But this time against the Claude, Claude's just going to outscale the Harith. And once you get Winner Crown, very difficult to deal with.
Yeah, the draft is clean, but Aurora Gaming definitely goes a little bit outside the box.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas Alter Ego brings us back to some simplistic Swiss stage type drafts. You have the Claude, you have the Sora, you have this Hylos. Just keeping it simple, a very straightforward draft overall.
And it's just crazy to see because, like, sure, Zeusin is amazing, but is it? Oh my god, light! The Khalid! That's a Void Blast! First blood for Hijume!
That's huge for the side of Alter Ego. Not only a first blood, plus a flicker. You get a lot of value out of that. A lot of times players will just let use the flicker, but now you've lost even more.
Oh man, you really tried there. He made him miss at least one cannon minion, but yes, flickers down there. It's going to be quite big, and again in the bottom lane, Arfi already winning it out, just purely from sustain. Because the thing is about the Claude, right? If you're up against the Harith, back then at least, the Harith will win in the trades, and then you're going to be forced back. But here, you never lose a trade in a way, because even if you lose a trade, 2 hits and you're back to almost full HP. The Fighter Emblem just gives you so much sustain.
Exactly. Normally the Harith with the range. Wait a second to the mid side, RWM.
Oh man, they're going to be caught. RWM doing so much damage. And that's another flicker down for
いやでもこれで触診リコールだからまたイセンシンあ
Caught in the air, taken down by the Khalid now. A good taunt landing on Alec. He's trying to get away. Hijume providing enough support. The Appraiser's Wrath nowhere near enough damage to take the horse down. But they regain control off the turtle. And now it should be free. Yazuke will not make it free though. He will take as many green camps. He will counter jungle as many camps as possible. But this is why they go.
あこれやばそう
It's very difficult to farm up against him. Raging Sandstorm used up. But again, for
でも触診をずっと使わない
gonna chill on that one. You know, in the top lane.
よ
Kill against Edward. Revenge was served in the top lane. Just in a moment of Aurora Gaming starting to control the map. Alter Ego fights back. I do want to talk about this Khalid a little bit more. Renmar did say you get that laning phase aggression. He outputs amazing damage in those first 4 levels, and Aurora Gaming have been capitalizing on that. They've been taking advantage of the quick movements. Luckily, Alter Ego, though, is able to find some plays for themselves in the midst of it all.
Let's take a look at the items here. Quick check. Nothing too crazy. It's the rush for the DHS for Arfi as usual. And yeah, the Azure Blade plus the little book there to get you instant dashes, instant unlead dashes.
Dreadnought armor for Fredrin. He's probably going to switch
やっぱりこのレベルだとソロデスは論外ですか
as well, so he can get a little bit of best of both worlds.
まあでもやっちゃってるしなエドワード
レイトはアルターエゴの方が強く見える
あ
Over, landing on Yazuke, now the RBM coming down as Yazuke is still able to survive, popping him out of shocker before he dies as Hijume gets a trade on, and now it's Nito!
おお
Demon Kite goes down. It's a 2-for-1 currently.
Bravest fighter to stun dodge away from Alter Ego. Walk away with the win. And light down. It's a utility jungler and a tank for one of your carries.
瞬間的にはアルタイゴの方が強いね。でも、なんか、睨み合いとかだと、ローラの方が、制圧力的な感じで言うと、
にしか寄ってないけど今のヒグはミドガンクなんですか？そらそれ生きるんかい。
The concussive blast over Brace might just rotate so quickly. Light up top, trying to get the pressure back for him. Alec with a walk up the taunt though. Comes around for Demon Kite. Yazuki's walking up as well. The Brave Spiner coming out for Edward. That's a free turtle again to Demon Kite. 2 on the board with no response.
まあ、サイド寄れるときは寄ってもいいけど、ミッドで有利作れるなら全然ミッドで。
But he's gonna be caught, and it's Yue who gets the kill.
Alter Ego can do nothing about it right now. Even with the last turtle, they know we don't want to get into this. One taunt and you're all down.
Blinkers him on for Yasuke, able to escape out of the M, coming down on him, but Hijume, oh my god, Domeng is able to survive through it all with the unlimited dashes. And Hijume falls, Yasuke with the traceless forward, Light going in.
Looking for more. Aurora Gaming just continue to put on the pressure, but Yasuke wants to maybe jump back. Alter Ego, no, they can't take the fights right now. It's just the reality of the situation. There was nothing they seem to be able to do. They lay down a nice RDM, they do something perfectly, but Aurora Gaming still ends up winning. They have the damage, but they also have the defense. Is there a time? I think Alter Ego still needs maybe 8 minutes, 9 minutes till they can really put on a fight, until Claude can really lock in and get involved.
I guess so. Right
やっ
now
ぱ
he's
触診存在が
he's
嫌い
sitting
かも。
on HS. The Harith is behind
ゴールドガン
a
クってもう
but
誰
you
も
are
やって
active
ない
way
のか
earlier.
な。
And that may be the reason as to why they actually went for the Harith despite being in a bad matchup, right? Like Claude can get the
タイミングによるよね。
How big is your lead going to be? It's not going to be a whole item diff yet, right? So as long as Domeng gets the starting side of the Feather Heaven, he can do this. Constantly solo. Domeng! Oh my goodness! Not a mounted shock with the glorious pathway in the mid lane. Alter Ego
クラウドが
cannot
もう
get
ボコボコにされている。
on the map.
They can't get anything at all, let alone trades. I mean, he's literally diving under towers. It's not even a trade to be found.
Who gonna stop him?
この死に方は良くないよな。
Nobody gonna stop Domeng. Zaman force in. He knew RP did not have his flicker, and it was just the bang bang in Mobile Legends, man.
No, we're
Straight up.
We're talking about Domeng, but for me, it's Yue 2-0-1. Even earlier in that fight, yes, Domeng didn't drop it. Yue's the one who dives in with the beacon, able to output the damage. And normally, it doesn't seem. Normally, for me at least,
触診に対してヒロストルの握手ってめっちゃ思うようになった。
Hey, speaking of Yue, give it the all in from Nino. Going on to Yue, goes for damage as well. Yue able to
このレ
survive
ベ
for
ルの
such a
大
long
会の
time.
立ち回りは
And
参
Nino
考に
already
なら
used the
ない。
flicker, still
ラ
goes
ン
in
ク
on
と
the
は全
turn,
然
but
違
it's a
う。
trade at least.
Nino knew once he saw the Zaman's force coming, it's like, all right, I have to fully commit.
Like
At
Trex
least
be
get the
complimenting him
trade.
too
At
much.
least get the trade.
Nino he wants you to compliment him, bro. That's what he wants.
まあ、SRG とか割とゴールドランクしがち。
That's a stun though.
最初のレベル4の段階とかで。
Oh, okay. Hey, it's a safe play. Better safe than sorry, right?
So taking a look at the items, still only a DHS for the Claude. And I think at this point, you're going to need the whole trinity. You're going to need the Scythe, you're going to need the wand, you're going to need it all to really be able to output. And that's a long while away at this point. We are 8.5 minutes in. 8.5 minutes in. And probably around 10, 11 minutes, that's when the third item's going to come. And by then, Aurora Gaming can turn this 2.7k gold lead into 4, 5, and just continue the snowball.
It's still within Aura Gaming Philippines' power spike is the problem right now. Yeah, so Alter Ego, they're just going to have to wait and stall the game a bit longer. Because if we do get to the late game, this is where Alter Ego's composition really starts to pop off, right? They have 3 damage dealers. That's why it was very greedy for them to actually go for the Claude and then the Yi Sun Shin in the end. I really thought it was going to be a utility jungler too, right? But hey, that's the War Axe pickup, so they are getting to that point. It's just incredibly slow because in normal situations, you would actually be able to give gold, like more to the gold lane if you're on utility, or vice versa. If you're on the fighter gold, you give more to the jungle. Now everyone's kind of like looking for gold everywhere on the map, and it's just getting tough because Light has so much ground clearance on this Khalid. It's so easy for him to rotate top, bot, again, everywhere to stop the guys from farming or to counter jungle.
You know, what's insane about this as well is Alter Ego got so many picks that we considered power picks.
Oh, yeah.
They get this Claude, they have the RWM, they have big play potential here, but they're just not able to make it all work.
Let's see. Lord. Already taking half HP now. RP walking up, pops into BMI as Edward jumps in with the Bravest Spider. That's already Sancho with the flicker into the back line. It finds Hijume. He pops into RWM, but it's a bit too late.
And Yakuze is trying to do something, but he's just not able to output the damage.
Traces is out to safety. Nino still kind of in the midst of it all, doing more damage over on Demon Cam, and RP goes in now on Yue, and it takes him down. It's just a 2-4-2 at the end of the day. Yazuke. Did he get taken down? No.
2 for 2 plus a Lord. UA Light, Hajume and Alex all fall. The tower's gonna fall next, and Aurora Gaming PH continues to push forward.
3.2k gold lead. Now, even if Alter Ego hit their power spike again, if Aurora are able to build a lead that bypasses that power spike, it's going to be big trouble for Alter Ego. They will have good clear still with the Eve, with the Isshin. Let's take a look at the replay to see exactly what happened in that fight.
I mean, it's just a full-on dive in the backside. And look at Yazuke. Normally, that many free hits, you're going to be able to take someone out, but the damage just isn't there yet. Arfi as well, chipping away on a UA. It takes forever to even get a kill.
Arfi died. Life View Raging Sandstorm now locks Nino down. Both the side laners of Alter Ego were caught lacking. Uh-oh.
They'll play as well. Alter Ego just trying to defend. All the holy defenses are popping. Lord is off the map at this point, but still Aurora Gaming are going to try to push in and take an inhibitor.
Where's Yazuke? He's still up top now. Blur's pathway going to be used up as the RWM actually does a little bit more damage over on Light, but now Alec actually is able to walk away, gets the stun, but it's Edward with the CC immunity of the Bravest Spider as RP comes back to life and they'll be able to defend. Still though, they're stripped down to their base turrets in mid and bot.
And Light just locked in Radiant Armor. That means he can really hang out in the midst of this RWM. He can take even more damage. So we went from being a nice damage-dealing tank in the beginning game, and now he's just going to be able to absorb the damage. If he wants to pull off a crazy Raging Sandstorm, he has the ability to do that and get away safely. Skypiercer has been in for UA. He's 4-2-2. The stacks, I'm sure, are starting to come in, and that means even more damage on the side of Aurora Gaming. We're not even talking about Edward. We're not even talking about Dome and Kite yet.
Now it comes back to how can they get farm?
こんばんは、コーチングですか?
Trying their best to actually freeze out and to push in when they actually want to take away the green camps, right? Again, for Light, he's trying to catch these guys off guard.
クラウドのポジション怖すぎそれ。
Come back to bite him. Dome and Kite. Okay, he doesn't read into that bush. I thought, you know, he would use the eye icon and maybe look for a play there. But yeah, Alter Ego. At this point, they've hit some power spikes. RP already on the 3-item. The Holy Trinity of attack speed items already. He's building towards a melting gun, interestingly enough, not straight to the Winter Crown. So he's expecting to just be free in the fights.
I think it's not a bad play at this point. Maybe just fully commit, right?
Last
try
cannon.
to chip down onto Demon Kite. There's so much tank on the side of Aurora Gaming. And if he can play smart, it could be huge.
Yeah, Nino really try to brute force into that position there, but it gets chunked. Edward zoning Yazuke away. Look at the Lord. He's getting chunked really low. Yazuke has no position to go for the contest, and Demon Kite secures it for free as Edward whips the stun, but he doesn't need to land. Raging Sandstorm with the flicker now catches Nino. That's a pick up on the left there, and Nino gets sent to the sword of Edward.
At this point, Yazuke hasn't been able to try to take a single neutral objective. 3 turtles, 2 lords, and he hasn't even been able to walk into the pit because Aurora Gaming is waiting for him. And this is what the composition's able to do. Edward brings out the Bravest Fighter. Light brings out the Raging Sandstorm. They hold down this front line, and there's nothing these egos can do.
The Lord will charge into the mid lane. They're not even concerned about the mid lane right now. That's Alex thrown back in the bottom lane. Oh my goodness!
ハリスやば、ハリスやば。
BMI barely gets away in the synchro vision, but it will be guaranteed now. That is a free turret down below, and it is a base turret. For Alter Ego, it really comes down to defending the top side, just because it's the far lane. But still, Aurora will take whatever they can get. 2 base turrets with a Lord push, that's value, dude.
They might just look for a third here. Minions are coming down the bottom side. They can push on the top here. Alter Ego has to commit to 1.
Edward with Bravest Spider now jumps onto Hijume. Yazuki dealing a lot of damage now as RP does the same. The Mount of Shocker goes wide as now it's going to be Light trying to run away, and he does. Glorious Pathway!
Omen Kite maybe looking for the possible re-engage along with UA, but Roar are going to play it safe. They took 2 inhibitors. They can move on to the Lord next.
And look at how low that last turret is. Nino checking his bush. We'll spotlight out there. But the turret up top, man. If Aurora even just build a small slow push and they spotted this. Oh my goodness.
Arfy's gonna try to lock on.
Thankfully it's a Khalid, right? Like there's you don't chase him easy. Oh man, the orange buff. Yue shining the light onto Yazuke. Zoning him away, the retry from Demon Kite to take it away from Yazuke, who still kill us this game.
Alter Ego have just been getting starved non-stop. Purple buff gonna go as well. Nino at least keeping vision, taking a look at the items. Taking a look at Yazuke. Just got Malefic Gun in. I mean, at this point, it is a rough position. It's a 7.7k gold. And the thing about Aurora Gaming is they're okay with taking it slow right now. They have late game potential as well. There's not exactly a clock ticking for them in the general scheme of things.
There you go. Winter Crown actually built by Domeng quicker than the Claude. Again, you would expect the Winter Crown to be built up earlier for the Claude, just so that you can try to make those outplays happen, but it's Domeng. So now he has the survivability in the team fight. Even if you go for the all-in on him, say you poke him out, right? He still can pop Winter Crown. The rest of the team can then just peel all the other engagers off of him.
All right, so for Alter Ego here to make something happen, I think they need the big play, right? Nino needs to pull something off. But right now, Alter Ego approaching these fights split up might not be the answer.
Yep.
I know they can get caught by a big Raging Sandstorm and maybe it turns around on them, but they need to look for the big combo themselves if they want to try to put this into their hands.
Look at the wave up top. It's a slow push built by Aurora Gaming Philippines, and they go straight for the Lord, so that Alter Ego won't have time to decide whether they want to actually deal with the slow push up top. Now they go on Edward, but he pops in Raven Spider, and the Lord gets reset. Masterful Lord dance by Aurora Gaming Philippines. That slow push, remember how low the turret is up top. Just a few hits and it's gone, and that's why you see Alter Ego desperate to look for a fight, to look for something. They want a commitment, but it's Roro! Oh my goodness, right in the back line fighting it. Blazing doing with the Winter Crown, not doing any damage, and Appraiser's Wrath as Domeng dives in.
Domeng able to find
Yeah, bye.
as well.
Yeah, bye.
It's a double for Yue.
Nino with the flicker out. Now it's Demon Kite with the chase. It's just he, Jume, and Nino. There's a big cannon wave in the bottom lane, crashing down onto Alter Ego's base. Domeng is ridiculous on the earth, and that's Yue with a Sky Piercer stack, a mega kill, and a wipe out to secure match point.
Once again, it's blow
でもロダに
in fourth.
ロダのこれ最強構成か。
Alter Ego with the second, and now Aurora Gaming
強っ。
to help secure match point. Will it happen again, or will it end in the next match?
ハリソン終わってるかと思ったらバカ強かった。
ハリスって終わりかと思いきやクソ強い。
And now I understand the Harith pick. That was a confidence pick from Domeng Kite. I'm sure it was him telling the coach, give me my Harith. I will beat Arfy in lane. I will solo kill him. And when you need me, I will show up.
In this specific moment and in this very specific game, I will allow and support
余裕でクラウドとエスンと
Ego.
か
I
せるやん。
believe that it was a conversation very similar to what you said, most likely in Tagalog,
ピック
saying,
見て安
Coach,
心したら寝起きしてた。起きた。
let me have it. And for the majority of the game, we'll see it more in the highlights. I'm pretty sure they were all saying, Meng Tingin, just kill him, just kill him.
And then cut to Demon Kite, just hands behind his head. I'll play whatever you want, coach. Anything. Give me anything. And he continues to perform. I mean, the way we see Roro play this game, masterful, really. They gave no
やら
opportunities.
か
They
した
were
らク
making
ビ
sure
に
that
なる
Nino
状
didn't
況
have
で
good
集団
angles.
戦と
They
か
were
怖く
also
てでき
making
な
sure
い。
that Domeng, hey, he's already doing a great job. So the Claw wasn't able to get any effective
今
blazing
とビグ
duets.
ホ
As a
ムラ
matter
フ
of
ン
fact, and the
800
times that
円
he did,
コニクイ
okay,
ン
it's not that bad, but I do feel like the Winter Crown needed to show up a little bit earlier than the Malefic Gun. I think that's the only small thing that could have changed, but really, man, how do you even approach that when Yue is already controlling your front line, moving them around like Lego pieces?
I think this
音聞
supports
こえなくなっ
the
た。
theory we had going into the draft as to why they went for the Jushin first, is because they already saw the Eve. They were aware of what Hijime was capable of. Not to downplay how good this mid laner of Alter Ego is, but in that very specific situation, if Yue gets his hands on the ultimate utility mage in this current metagame, then the Eve's strengths are almost nullified.
The center of the map for Aurora, their objective taking was fantastic. But if Dominicart did not have the game that he had, then the value that they got at the time that they got it would have been much later in the game. But since Dominicart straight up defeated RV in lane 4-0 and 6, perfect Harith game. Despite going up against a lineup that has an Eve, you gotta give it to Dominicart, man.
Yeah, it's not like they set up for him as well. It's not like they put him, RV in a position where he has to take Purify. He had the flicker to run away. They just made sure that he used that one resource and said, hey, Domeng, he's all yours. Do whatever you want with him. And he finds these kills consistently because he has access to this one battle spell that most marksmen are forced off of in these type of positions where they have to hyper carry.
And this is because of the built-in resilience Harith has. Even without the Zaman Force, you put him in his own ult, then you can forget about pinning him down. This white-haired, little hyperactive Leonin boy will have his way with you. And now I understand. Again, Aurora are one of the few teams to not only serve up the first couple of losses to Alter Ego in all of M7, but also they're one of the few teams to take the Ubis strat, quote-unquote, this far into this metagame.
Yeah, what I appreciate about Aurora Gaming's drafting decisions in game number 3 was, yes, we did get to see more ego, not just through the Harith, but then now we even see the value of the Khalid paired up with the Jushin and Fredrin. I think we were looking at the Khalid a little bit too much in the tunnel vision of just the hero alone, but then we forgot the elements around it. The inescapable threat of every Jushin is that at one point, it will peel the sky piercer, which means that everything that the Khalid does will end up being rewarded. Even if it's a trade, it's going to be a kill for the Jushin and the stack. At the same time, even if you fall down, bro, Demon Guy took so much damage in this game and survived. He only had one death. The team fighting of Aurora was so disruptive to what Alter Ego wanted to do that now I understand the beauty of the Jushin, Khalid, Harith, and then closing it out with a Fredrin. They were blocking the aggression of Alter Ego.
And they're doing it at basically tax-free, right? Because Khalid is one of the few heroes who actually has self-sustain with Quicksand Guard. So even if he's getting beaten up, okay, I'll just sit in the bush for a little bit, wait a couple more seconds, do it again, and I'm back to full.
And what I was afraid of that would bite them in the behind, getting that Khalid early on, didn't even really matter. Again, you mentioned, this is dangerous grass. You go in and you use the Quicksand
I'm so big fanさん、ハッピーゲン。
And that, in my opinion, is the tax that Aurora put on Alter Ego. The fact that they have to think about so many different aspects while hunting down the Harith.
なんかこれ固まってる？
Alter Ego aggression.
いや、動いてんだ。
From game number 2, we noticed that the brass tax was too high. Coming into game number 3, I think this is one way to kind of opt in, bypass that tax in the first place, right? With this Khalid, hey, do you need help in the laning phase? This should technically be the hardest laning phase for you. What do we focus on? Clear the wave. If you harass, you make sure that you don't take any damage. I will absorb it for you, and now we're redistributing it onto the right targets.
なんかハリス強く見えたね、めっちゃ。
And never felt comfortable enough like he was in game 1 and 2.
Let's continue the theme here of the M7 World Championship about looking at the mid trios. Hijime lacking that timing for the power spike. Let's look at Light. He started off this game with a death. A very quick one at that. In most cases, you'd think, oh no, Aurora's not going to be able to be aggressive and actually take it to the jungle of Alter Ego. That wasn't true. Light said, all right, I'm going to still go out into their jungle and still get vision. They're not going to stop me. And then now, Yue, since he didn't die in that initial trade, he's actually still safe. My mid laner is fine. And that's going to be the trade I'm going to be looking at. Yes, they might take me down, bring me down low, but can they finish me off eventually? It eventually became no, because Yue was slowly taking away the members of Alter Ego. Then add to the fact that Demon Guy's gonna suddenly show up, suddenly become an unkillable presence in front of Alter Ego, difficult to deal with.
But that's the thing, right? As much as Yue was able to do all of these things, that's where it really saddens me when Nino, he goes into his damage form, right? He goes into that Lightning Thunder form, and he's not utilizing it 100%, right? There are times where you don't need the CC immunity when you're running away. Just turn into the lightning form and get those iframes to actually close the distance, if not create more distance against your opponent. But I was hoping to see Nino trade his life more to force Yue to ult early on. If he could do that a couple more times, I think this game would have looked a lot differently.
I'm worried about how this will dictate the game, well, mostly by the draft going into Game 4. Because now we see that even against one of the strongest teams in M7, Alter Ego, Aurora, can play on a spectrum of different kind of lineups. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have to play fighter side lane anymore. They can play Harris side lane. They can play Ube utility style. And who knows? Maybe now it's Alter Ego who has an identity crisis. Maybe having so many masks is now being a struggle for them. Because, look, we played multi-core here. And I'm the economy guy. And I'm looking at this now. It's like, that's one of the reasons why they couldn't fight back is because they were too busy getting farm on both Yasuke and on Arfi, which is, again, a non-starter. How do you even begin?
All right, Jerome Powell, I'll tell you how they needed it to begin. Really, it just boiled down to whether or not Hylos is able to find that initial glorious pathway. Because there were a couple that were really good at cutting them off, but nobody's in position to take advantage of the scenario. So at that point, I think that Alter Ego, from game number 1, didn't want to play a traditional style against Rora of all people.
The way it sounds like is, for Alter Ego, the way this could have worked is if they won the lane, right? So, and that's not going to work. Sometimes you have to understand that we have to give up the lane. And if you can't play that long game, then you're in trouble.
Well, great points here on the panel, and I'm pretty sure that's going to tell a better story once we head into the draft for game number 4. But it's time now to remind you that our Patrick skin, I was about to say something there, but it completely, like, it was slipped out of my mind. The Glue Patrick skin is also available in-game now. Don't miss it. It is the hottest hit of the summer. It's not the summer. What do you call January? It's not part of summer yet.
Of the new year.
Of the new year.
Of the new year.
The hottest movie of the new year is Glue Patrick skin. As previously seen and shown off by Patrick of the Nuya of Team Liquid Philippines and his performance on that glue and multiple other glue performances that we've seen here in the M7 World Championship and in previous tournaments. It is, and I will die on this hill, the best skin we've ever made in game.
It's such a good skin that honestly, I think they needed to start porting it into the other things that Munton has already produced at this point, right? I mean, it could go into Instagram, but I think personally that maybe Magic Chess Go Go.
How about a synergy for just SpongeBob and Patrick in Magic Chess Go Go? I know that that's a long shot, but what you can do now, though, is go in starting February 8th, until February 8th. Now to February 8th, you can reach level 45 in the Go One Pass to unlock Yuzhong, Emerald Dragon for free. Purchase the Go One Pass to instantly unlock Yuzhong's Go One skin, Dragon Shade, that's what I'm using now, and reach level 75 to unlock Yuzhong's Prime skin, Cosmic Dragon. I'm far off from that, but if I may say, I am my neighborhood's number 6 Yuzhong.
Ooh, that's great for you. And I like how Yuzhong did actually shake up the meta a little bit in MCGG. And hey, that whole SpongeBob Patrick thing that we're wishing for might not be far off. I mean, KOF eventually made it to MCGG. So what if,
Right? SpongeBob and Patrick can be like Iori and K?
K?
Yes.
Yeah.
They can be like two different skins and they have synergies.
Yeah, the Chevalier one.
Yeah. Trying to think of a good one. What would we? I mean, I can't be giving away these $1 million ideas for free, of course, but you guys can. Just make sure get the pass while you still can, and also get the 3 skins starting from 360 diamonds. Value. Being said, though, actually, I feel like I don't think we're ever going to see glue in this matchup. Like Nino has so far shown Sora, Yuzong. It's all damage dealers, and yes, obviously a setter in Sora, but he's kind of both, right?
Yeah. I think, especially now with the little break that we had heading into the second day of the knockouts, the teams have adapted and respected the idea of the instant gratification, that you get impact right away, that it is not too complicated for you and your team to get the wins, to lower down their health, force out resources. You want it instantly.
Yeah, so I think you have to revert to a time mode saying of KISS, K-I-S-S. Keep it simple, Sayang. That's localized.
That or get into drop shipping. I don't know, something. They need to find that instant value and instant money straight away. So that's why I'm concerned, because so far it's been an entire battle of looking for those leads for 3 games straight.
So as we head into game number 4, let's revisit the team head-to-head to maybe help contextualize the stats and what to expect between these two. Edward and Nino, I feel like, wow, I was just about to say it's a closer matchup than we expect, but it is actually a close matchup between the two EXP laners. For Hijime and Yue, I think their picks, as important as they are, more important, I feel like, is what ends up in the hands of Alec and Light respectively.
Yeah, right? It feels like as much as we are looking at the pinnacles
今の
of
試合、イスミだったからね、序盤押されてどうしようもなかったけど、やっぱ、レオモルト取っとけば、なんかワンチャンあった感あるな。
Have to invest more in the setup, not the payoff. The payoff is almost guaranteed. If you want to see Yasuke or Arfi go ham, they will. You want to see Demon Kai or Domenkai do their thing, they will. But you gotta make sure that they have a platform to do that on.
Yeah. Add to that, simple setup. Nothing too high concept, nothing that demands way too many layering.
Or things that shoot off in way too many different directions.
Exactly. And that's what, when you look back at the lineup of Aurora Gaming in game number 3, yes, the highlight of Domikai being able to do that as a solo player. If you look back at the rest of the team, it's actually not a difficult lineup to pull off. As the Fredrin, come on, we all know what Fredrin has done for ever since his inception into as the premier jungler pick, eventually fell off. But then when it does come up, we're just reminded of why it was a monster for the long time. He can stand there, take damage, and still bring value.
Yeah, which is why I was like, why didn't they pick it up on Red 4, right? They had the opportunity to do it on Red 4 or even Red 3, and they decided not to and give it over to Aurora. We look at the fans' predictions so far, and I mean, Aurora PH is coming up with 74%.
I personally predicted Aurora PH. But I also expected Aurora Alter Ego to put up a fight. Now, if they're going to put up more of a fight, take us all the way, that's on them now, going into Game 4.
What if now, for the Alter Ego picks of game number 3, Rod, Deep, Sora, High Loss, Essential, it makes sense, right? That is something that is Astrex put together in the cast, that it's very reflective of what happened in Swiss, what happened in our wild card as well.
やっぱ決勝近くなると試合長いよね。
うん。実力が均衡するからね。
If this were a 5, how much more?
I feel like Yasuke and Essential doesn't scream
視聴者の半分以上は寝起きしてると思う。
Where is the Hayabusa and Lancelot today?
Or even a Hellcurt or something like that. I mean, if we're talking about instant value, right?
あと、待機時間がバカ長い。
Very much so.
まあ、選手の準備とかもあるんやからね。
If we're going based on the trend of how these games are going, I think that Aurora is just going to keep on escalating unless this is the winning formula. We found it. We're just going to keep on reproducing.
Yeah. And that's something the Alter Ego needs to watch out for, because that is a drafting tendency of coaches Master of the Basics and Deckstar, is that once they pinpoint that weakness and that little pattern that they can lean into because they realize, hey, there's not a lot of counters to it, they will lean hard on that and then eventually ride away with the win. But Alter Ego is a team that has been known for shattering expectations. But just when you think you have them down, they suddenly come up with a drafting pattern that even shakes up.
この時は答えてあげてね、ちゃんと。
There's a lot of fans from all around the world watching. Fans from the Philippines specifically. I'm gonna tip my hat over to the Cavalry. I'm pretty sure whatever they played in Game 3 is a nod to the Liquid Stampede. Look at that lineup. You'll see a good DNA of it is what beat Aurora in the grand finals of FPL Philippines. You know what I mean? Like there's a Fredrin, there is a Zushin, and then you have this hard carry in the gold lane. It is very reminiscent of what their rivals from FPL PH would do.
Actually, okay, now I'm reminded as to why I felt there was something a bit different with seeing this Fredrin play. We're used to seeing Arteezy play the Fredrin.
それはリオちゃんとナッピーとリッピーの仕事です。
Because this time it was paired up with a Khalid, he didn't need to do that as much, so Demon Kai was straight back.
リッピー別にモデレーターじゃないよね。
Oh yeah, he is still a pseudo roamer that's difficult to take down.
And the entire time, especially when you're playing like a hyper-scaling style of jungler like Ishin Shin, just going even against him is already a big up, because he clears way faster than you in many different scenarios. Even if he's down a level, as long as they're maintaining that gold, Ishin Shin will eventually outscale you. However, catching people, right? The timings of which Demon Kai gets in there, he suddenly lays the blanket and says, no, I am the flood, you stay right where you are.
As our voices fade out, of tennis indoor as the Indonesian broadcast ushers us in. Well, you can still hear us in the global streams that we have all around the world as we go into Broken Walls for game number 4. And no surprise, Aurora still take out that Grog, and the Pakja is still not being given at all. This time, they also take out the Fredrin.
They want something a little bit more punishable in the jungle. I think they always like going for that Sora, no matter what. And I think Aurora are completely fine with it. They're like, whatever. As long as you don't have anything that forces out our battle spells, Sora is very manageable.
And it's not even a matter of can we counter it with Valentina anymore. It's literally just, okay, Nino, go ahead, make our day. And that changes our expectations. I remember going into this match, we were talking about things to watch out for. We mentioned Sora. Apparently for Aurora, it really doesn't matter. It's just another hero.
Stuck under the punch. It's not that hard, some may say. But I think that Aurora here, let's see what that one slight adaptation, right?
They got to ban the Sushin.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it as well. Are they willing to give Eve? I feel like you might as well leave both open at that point.
That's true. Give the onus over to Coach Sefer. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So what would we ban?
The thing is, if Eve is given here, and let's say Alter Ego picks up Eve after Aurora bans out the juice in, Yu Zhang's going to go to Aurora. But then Alter Ego will just respond with the Uranus early on because that's usually the responses that we've seen now recently. So they go for the Freya. They'll open up both.
Yes, both. Yes. That's what we're saying.
All right, what do they want? What do they want, AE? There's so much to go around, man.
Oh, there it is. So now we see how Aurora performs when the table is on the other foot.
Yeah.
Claude Eve, right?
Well, they don't need to rush the Eve because they already see the juice in on the other side.
Also true.
I want to see Aurora surprise us and show their version of Leomord.
Oh, really? Ooh.
Even though I would have seen that, I would have liked to see that more if it was an Eve first pick.
Like double horse tech sort of thing,
Yeah,
plus the Eve? Yeah.
When they go double horse, maybe, but there it is! It's the Leomord, and as you called it, the Claude.
Good call, good call.
What is going on with the metagame? In Swiss, midway through, I'm like, yo, Leomord is not metagame. He needs so much setup. And now he's first phase worthy.
He's good at punching people when they're low, right? And that's exactly what you need compared to Yishin Shin, where it's like, man, I gotta do all these cool little tricks to get maximum damage while this guy's just punching me in the face. Oh! And the counter pick steal as well.
The crowd goes wild. Joe would have been perfect for Aurora, but Alter Ego block it. Fanny falls at the hands of Yasuke. Mr. Hoyt is somewhere smiling right now.
強いイブ取って完成。
How can they deal with this now? Badang? Kalia's already gone.
いや、なんか取らなさそ
I
う。
like that you brought up Badang because my mind was already jumping to Kufra.
取らなさそう。
Worst
イブ。
comes to worst, right? I mean, they've got to get the Yi.
まあでもさすがに取るか。
Find the Kufra.
Yeah.
Where's the Bloodstone again? There's a Cho.
The thing is, okay, the Kufra, you gotta make the most out of your Tired's Revenge because it's so
あ、そっか、イブ。何きついか。
Bouncing ball instantly steel
って思っ
cables
た
out.
らファミリーさ。
Yeah. Got no more lockdown. They go for the
Pass.
very brave choice. I think because with the heal, I assume Alter Ego will also still ban the Khalid again.
Yeah, they needed this Farsa because
ヒルがイブで圧ガンガン出しまくって試合破壊とかでも良さそうやのにな。
you're not sure if the Leomord
ヒルが消えてるわ。
so they need the Farsa, better mobility,
ヤズケの世
better
界代表ファミ
support
来た。
for Leomord's cleanup. But what do they do to respond to the Fanny? Is it a legit option to not care?
I think
ファミリーはサナで止められない。
just about trying to
でも
control the
大
Fanny
会
at
で
this
サ
point,
ナっ
right?
て
You've
取
already
ら
got
れない
your
か。
first 3 picks locked in.
That's your
at this
damage.
point.
That's all the damage you need.
Yeah, that's all the damage you need. Now the question is, how do we get an EXP laner who's able to kind of mess with the Fanny in her jungle, most importantly? If we can steal away the purple buff, that would be the most ideal option, but he still hasn't even locked in what's going into the gold lane.
The last time we saw Yasuke play this Fanny was in Game 2 against Onyx ID. He got MVP. He went 12-2-2. Aurora better be damn prepared for this Fanny. Because Yasuke, despite him being a rookie in the last FPL ID season, is not afraid to play this. The Gatacha gets taken out. I thought they lead more towards the Badang ban.
Very rare that Master the Basics, Coach Dexter, Khalad let things slip through. So with this Fanny, I'm like,
are they just gonna double horse it?
They might double horse it, but I think the plan is mainly so that AE ensures that the mid lane is somewhat contestable, and I think that's
なんかライド最強説ね、マジで。
like to get decent damage on towards, sorry, some decent damage at least towards Hime's side, but now that you have like both Jushin alongside with the troll, there's so many moments where a 2v1 scenario is a guaranteed flicker.
Arlot banned. So they're trying to take away the best surprise setup heroes here for Nino. Ooh. The Uranus is still a good option for Alter Ego, not gonna lie, despite there being the presence of the clock. Oh, that's a good read. Take out the chip.
That's a good way to kind of just surprise the Fanny out of the sky.
Oh, what if? Oh no, that's gonna be tough if they go for like something like a Kaja or a Franco.
The Kaja, Franco, Cooper are all in the same little bucket.
Yeah.
Like, break glass in case of emergency.
Yeah. And also because I'm always thinking about the juice in there, which is why Kulfa sort of like an off pick, even Franco, Kaja are on off pick. Why the safest is just either Badang or go for the high lows and go double horsies.
Question: How good is Arfi on Sora? How good is Arfi on Sora? Because I mean you still can go for like Sora Yuzong at this point, and you have entire access to the back line.
Oh, all that dive is not going to be good for their health. Yes.
We got the high loss at least, double horse tech.
Yeah. This is a revitalized Hylos.
アルタエゴはゾンとグレンジャーはソラ。
Granger carry. Oh, yeah, Granger, and then
it's in the XP.
Either Uranus or
Nino, you got.
What we mentioned? Yuzhong.
Nino's gotta clutch this.
It's a Greninja.
It's either aggression or something to hold down the formation.
Yeah. Man, this is a tough choice. What would I prefer? Sora or Yuzong in this particular section? Or do I just like sandbag the lane?
Lapu's open too.
So many good options.
Yep, there you go.
Lapu.
Are you signaling Benedetta? No, Lapu Lapu. It's the safe. It's a safer pick. It's right in the middle of the Yuzhong and whatever the hell else you. Oh, what was the other? Uranus. This is the safe. This is the middle ground.
Is this now time for Edward to show off? It's my turn to play Sora.
Can maybe. Well, the Esmeralda's still open.
It is.
It is his time to show off.
This is gonna be quite a game. We've seen the small adaptations throughout the entirety of the draft. Everybody has a rough idea of what they want to do and what they're most comfortable at doing. And now that it is kind of surmounted at this point, the last changes are going to come down for these players, but the game plan, where are we headed to? Do we start purple straight away, or do we opt to go right into a full clear?
This is Edward's second game on the Sora. I played it on the 15th of January against Team Spirit and won.
Here's with the stats. Early to mid game for Alter Ego looks really good. The mid to the late game potential is where it falls for Aurora. Broken walls again. Game number 4. Will we go to another game number 5? Or will the Northern Lights fly into the upper bracket finals to meet Selangor Red Giants? They lead 2-1. The Alter Chaps going wild for their hometown heroes. And now it's time to go wild for Trex and Mirko.
What's up, guys? Trex, Mirko still here, bringing you in this in-game action. You know, Aurora Gaming brought us to match point, Mirko, but if there was a draft that could tie things up, I feel like this is it for Alter Ego.
Absolutely. Alter Ego got a lot of the things that they wanted in the draft here. They went for the trades here and there, and honestly think, hey, it's a perfect setup for Yazuke on a Fanny. So far, I believe it's still at 100% win rate, and I literally just scrolled on TikTok earlier to find Yazuke with a Chad jaw. It's a kind of a meme, you know, the Sigma male meme. Light's gonna be taken down by Yazuke on the Fanny, and the caption says, "Me when I get Fanny." So that's perfect right there as he gets first blood.
Beautiful timing, and you know, the panel was worried about the Farza. They were worried about the draft of Aurora PH in the first half. And it's true, how do they deal with this Fanny? And my guess was, we try to steal buffs, we try to get aggressive, but they're already falling behind on that. And if they let Alter Ego just continue this type of momentum, it doesn't really seem like there's a chance.
And again, RP is back on the Granger. A lot of people will probably say, you know, the Granger is horrible against the Claude, which I agree. In normal cases, it is. But if you're good at the Granger, every matchup works. All you need to do is stay level against your opponent. Don't get too crazy with it.
明日はお
And
肉
then later, as
ID
your
の
team
運命
wins,
の
you
一
start
戦
getting those Sky
し
Piercer
かも優
stacks. I
勝
think
候
that's
補と
exactly
の
the
ト
route
ル
that
コと
RG is going to take.
正
In
念
this
場
game
だ
particularly,
なかなか
for the most part,
厳しい戦いになるだろ
広さってどういう字に取るのがいいんですか
this is finally a flicker Granger. So he's expecting not to be the threat. He's expecting to be the
う。かなー、ピックンダッシュあんま分かんないんだよね、俺も。
has their hands full with the Fanny already. They have something else that they have to deal with. For me, the Granger just kind of feels like insurance for mid to late game, some possibilities. If Yasuke is able to distract them and keep all eyes on him, then Arfi can just kind of farm for free. Arfi can get to that point where he has the opportunity to pop off as well. On the side of Aurora Gaming, though, I think a lot of this is going to come down on Light holding the front line, along with Edward getting these stuns, you know, putting the stiff arm out against Yasuke.
Again, RB doing a really good job in the lane. Feathered airstrike instant. Crimson Beacon. Hijume will not allow himself to get poked, but then he walks back in range to get poked. Shadow Stab Beacon coming down as Nino's going to be fully stunned up, and he can't use the second part of it. Yazuki coming in with the cables, doing a lot of damage over. He gets locked down. He gets Demon Kite, but he falls, and Edward
gets the double, looking for a triple. Yue gonna back off. Turtle still up though. Alter Ego is starting to fall down. They might get the kill on the Light here though.
And they will. It's Alec who picks up the kill, and we are back to 3-2. A big fight, and honestly, with how Alter Ego were in that position, with how they were holding that position, I feel like that was an Aura win.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely felt like it. I think it still could come down to who gets this turtle in the end. We're sitting at almost, we're past the 3-minute mark, and it's still first turtle on the map. Both teams.
ゆず系意外とワイヤーなんかミスってないでも。
No purple buff on the Fanny though. That's going to be big. Aurora Gaming Philippines have that hold, and this is where the Fanny starts to lose steam. When you get killed when you have a purple buff, or when your purple buff gets stolen, now you have to be very, very clean with it. Alec with the Jiku knowing the way to drag and lock him down. Nino goes in for the stun as well as Yazuki gets stopped by Light. Demon Kite getting away as the Crimson Beacon gets used by Nino earlier to escape, but he's so low.
Nino.
ラプがもっとルート早めに入っとけばなんかいけそうやった。
Goes to the skies now, but Nino's still there. Still pushing on the damage over on towards Nino.
あ、これやばい。
Suzuki goes and secures the purple buff. But Aurora, now they have the lead.
Blade of Hepatitis does lock in for Yasuke, but all
どっちが取った？あ、ちゃんとファニーが回収してるわ。
This is the pressure that we wanted to see. Oh, Alec, trouble.
Goes for the way the dragon is able to find an angle now. Yazuki with the cables went through Demon Kite, but the revitalize, it's just too much healing for him to deal with. Blazing duet with the BMI RP. Spaces perfectly, doesn't panic, and Domeng has the back.
Okay, so we're starting to get some creep up for Aurora Gaming PH. We're seeing the positive uses of this Hylos getting the heal for the team, making it hard for Yasuke to get the finishes. And at this point, Alter Ego, do they continue to hit the gas? Do they start to look at little pickoffs? It's a tough spot. Once you get pushed back like that, you lose a turtle, you take some deaths. Now we're kind of having to regroup. Luckily, the gold lead isn't crazy. Luckily, I still feel like it's a pretty tie game, and the opportunity is there for both teams. Taking a look at the items, Dreadnought does lock in for Edward, but now he's going to move into a little bit of damage, so kind of a hybrid build in that EXP lane.
強いし、しかも割と簡単っていうね。
Take it slow. Yes, it gets really frustrating when you have this kind of composition and you don't get the early lead, despite getting first blood. But you still have a pretty good mid game, right? You are going to be hitting those power spikes. Granger is on the way to the Sky Piercer, so RV, Hunter Strike straight to the Sky Piercer, second item, wanting to have a little bit more pressure in lane. The Hunter Strike obviously gets him a bit more safety in the team fights as well, getting more attack speed as whenever you get the fourth hit in.
All right, so Alter Ego, you know, you talked about them waiting, and I do feel like the Fanny, everyone always puts it in the bag of, oh, you have to pop off early. But it's surprising how much damage a Fanny can still do in the mid game, the 8 to 9 to 10 minute mark.
やばい。うわ、うまい。 そう。
Demon Kite and Light take him down. Pops in to revitalize as well. Now it's going to be Alec looking for Jiku. No! Crimson Beacon on the way to Dragon out with Lantern Flare picking him up. It's going to be the last shot from to take him out. And Light now is all alone. Is a Bravest Fighter stun landing on Light. It's a turret jungle from Alec. Gets a double. Right as he Sky Piercer.
Did he get the Sky Piercer in time? I know, yes, he did. So 2 stacks into it already, and that's what we were talking
笑
about with Arfi, the possibilities that even if Yasuke falls, he can pick the pieces up.
And it's a red tree used on purple when the turtle is up. You know what Alter Ego want to look for. It's not objectives. It is brutal team fights that they want to go for. Chaotic as ever. This is the Alter Ego we got to see in the playoffs of MPL Indonesia.
So Aurora Gaming approaching these fights from here on, they need to know we can't use the whole package on just Yasuke. We need to save something for Arfi. We need to make sure that we can deal with Hijume as well. Alter Ego, to deal with that, need to kind of layer these fights, need to come in at different timings, and that's what they did in the last one to win things out.
It was a good bait earlier there. Glorious Pathway coming down as well. Phantom Steed not used yet, but Edward had to back away. The airstrike coming down now. Trying to poke him down. Nino jump by Edward. He goes in onto Hijume.
空がヘバすぎる。
Now Nino with Bravest Fighter.
And a Phantom Steed able to shred through. Can they get it? Arfi with the shutdown.
Ale getting the way of the Dragon Peels for the
いやでも
team. And now it's Yasuke cutting the horse down
え
as the turtle will be next on the chopping block. Light walking up, but it's Yasuke who takes the turtle as Tomeng gets a
5対4だからか。
Arfi 4-0 in 3 already. We're entering the danger zone for Alter Ego. And look at the top side as well, Nino.
よし、見てなかった。何ばっか見てた。
To the map right now. Malefic gun locks in for Arfi as well. The damage is online.
Trex, Alec was a lifesaver in that fight. They went all in. Now Alec's gonna go for the Jikundo again. Right as the turret spawns, with the Dragon locking the boy down. Blazing duet of the BMI, but Yasuke comes in! Under the turret, gets the cables to get away!
And Edward is trying, but it's just not enough. Alec goes down. Edward does find the kill, but he's gonna pay the price.
You know, with the bravest fight, it's Arfi going unstoppable, picking up the rapid boots and Alter Ego again. They do not care for objectives. They do not care for structures. What they want is to brawl, and Aurora Gaming Philippines are giving it to him. Yasuke!
He's a
ヤズケハニーやっぱ強い。
Under the tower, 1v1, jungler versus jungler. At this point, Aurora Gaming is trying to fight back. They're looking for little moments, but I think they need to go on the defense. They were able to catch them off guard in the early game, but now the power spikes are here. They need to look for more responsive plays instead of meeting Alter Ego Esports head on. Taking a look at the items. We're still waiting on that Holy Trinity from Domain Type. We're still waiting on a second item for Yue. The damage dealers just don't have the damage yet. And Elio Ward is normally something that can help control the early game. And since he has died as well,
気づいた。ヤズケ俺の弟子っていう事実に。やっと。
Lord's going to be coming up in just a few seconds. And in my mind, I don't think Aurora Gaming should try to force the fight on it.
I agree. I think they have proper amounts of wave clear to deal with the Lord. But having said that, though, are we really sure? Because all they need to do is bait out one stun. Now they're going to go in on the turret. So much damage over the domain cap, and Edward jumps into the back line. Nino going to be able to take the turret, but Walek again is able to find the way to Dragon as Arfi gets peeled. And now he goes for the monster kill. The Phantom Steed used by Demon Kite. And now Alter Ego will go straight for the Lord.
Edward has to hit the brakes. He has to calm down. This is what I meant. Aurora Gaming, yes, I know they weren't trying to force a fight, but they could have just walked away from that engage from Alter Ego. Even if they lose the tier 3 in the mid, it would have been better than what happened now.
I said this when I was casting MPL ID, but it just felt like every time Alter Ego played, it was so messy. And it wasn't just them, it was their opponents too. You know, goes for the stun, BMI away from Domeng. And to finish the point earlier, Alter Ego just have a way to force their opponents to play a messy game. I don't know what it is.
They
It's
bring
so
the worst
awkward.
out of other people.
They bring the worst out of other people, and that's what you're seeing. Aurora Gaming, this isn't the thing you would see from them usually, especially the form that we saw them using to beat TLPH. They were clean. They knew when to take the risks. Domeng had to be MI out. That's a free tier 2.
And Lord hasn't even gotten to the base yet. They're going to be able to make some holy defenses pop in the mid side as Lord creeps down the bottom. You know, we said it, Aurora Gaming has the ability to defend. They do have things like...
Yeah.
Feather Airstrike.
空取った方毎回負けね。
They have the shred of Doming Kite. They don't need to force anything.
The thing is, though, they kind of do, because when Nino's up in front of you like that, you have to do something, and it's a Feather Airstrike that you have to pull out. It's sometimes even the Blazy Duet for Doming to try to shoo these guys away, but once you use those resources onto the frontliners, onto these guys who are constantly up in your face, Yazuke walks up, or rather, he flies in.
I gotta say, the losing one inhibitor still feels kind of like not a too bad of a loss of what could have happened. But Aurora Gaming, don't go out there. They need to stay put. This is exactly what Alter Ego wants at this point. So let's look at the stack. 60 stacks in the sky.
ゴールドで取った時勝ってる。EXP ね、これ負けてる方が多いはず。
Lead with the cables, trying to feint, trying to waste some of the resources, but Aurora did not bite.
Okay, so Alter Ego still playing it slow, but they're trying to bring the worst out of Aurora Gaming right now. They're kind of playing the outside rims of the base, hoping that somebody bites the bait. It's gonna be 55 seconds to Lord. Does Alter Ego go for the stall in the lanes, or do they just keep on pushing in here?
I think they go for the stall. They can't afford
いやもう別にもうなんかこの試合を盾に強くなろうとかいう目線で見てない。もうただただプレイすげえなっていう。
Don't want them to get their item power spikes, because then it relies on you not making a single mistake on a Fanny in the late game, which is way easier said than done, brother.
And I gotta say as well, Edward, earlier on when he made that big play that he paid the price for, you still saw the damage from, you saw the capabilities. So, as you said, when those item spikes do come in, if Aurora Gaming is able to do something like that, when they can actually get kills into the backline, it could be
ただただ刺激を求めて。
win this game if they can turn things around here.
まあ
Alter Ego, 3 seconds for Lord, looking for
バトルとか集団戦だよね基本。注目ポイントこういうロードの時とか。 この試合はアルタイゴが押してるから一方的にロード取れるけど、均衡してる時はね、その逆レーンのミニオンだったりの管理だったり、そういうところはね、どうしてるかだからね。
Yazuke looking for a 6. He does pick up the brute force breastplate for a little bit of defense there. A 2,000 gold lead over Demon Kite. And Yue, I think that's been the major problem right now for Aurora Gaming. He's got 2 items in right now.
And it's not going to be looking good right now as they crash into the base. Nino looking for the angle now with the Bravest Spider as well. That's going to be line knocked up. That's Yazuke! In the back of the cutthroat, finding the Forza! That's a shutdown though as Leomore gets to pick up Edward.
Doman Kite as well, trying to get some free shots with the Blazing Duet.
With a nature from RB! Now he goes for the gun down on Demon Kite. It's another shot into the middle as Demon Kite's able to space away. A double for Demon Kite. Lord cleared up. Nino holding the fort. But Aurora somehow defend.
Not somehow, they do it well, they do it cleanly. Yes, Yazuke gets the kill, but they quickly take him off the map. Arfi hangs out a little bit too long, gets chipped down low, is forced to leave the base, and then the beautiful Blazing Duet to push them away as well from Domeng Kite. Aurora Gaming, I don't think there was a better way they could have defended that.
And now, it's the big question mark to Alter Ego. You have the stacks, you have the lead, you have 3 base turrets. Do you still want to brawl? Because this is finally a comfortable Aurora to be like, yeah, we want to do what we've been doing all this game, but this time it should benefit us. You shouldn't be brawling. We should. Glorious Pathway to Shadow Stampede. That's RB cards.
That's huge. In the backside, though, Yue goes down.
Egypt is still kiting away now, popping in the Lantern Flare as Alex able to escape with the Helmet Immortality. Somehow Yazuke buys a Rose Gobidia and escapes, but Nino is all alone. Can he survive this? That's going to be so much damage from Domeng Kite, and Nino will fall to light.
Yazuke is nowhere to be found. He had to go back to base. Aurora Gaming, though,
they're going
to go back to their own base. They're going to defend. We got 2 members. We got the winning number on that last
マジ
fight.
か
They want more. Alex, wait. Purify out from Domain. Now the body.
Yeah.
Yasuke able to win the nature. Perfectly timed. No panic from Domain. Ice cold.
There's no waiting in the land of Dawn. There's no pausing. At
マジでクラブは最強化してる。
Gaming has checked the boxes. They found their timing, and they're the ones who want to brawl. They're the ones who are forcing the fight because they know.
ただ
We have no inhibitors.
ただ問題があるとすればロード前に洗礼を使ってしまった。
And this is the adaptation, the improvement that
質
we've
問
seen
です。
from Aurora
小村
Gaming
さんも昨日
Philippines.
の配信でクラウドを浄化で使ってたのですが、相手に引く多い時にフラッシュと変えて使うイメージですか？
It's only the last lord that
う
matters.
ん。
One lord to rule them all.
Now the cable's coming in. Now
ピックアップ系のキャラの時は基本洗礼にしてる。あ、やばい。あ。あ。あ。
Edward's trying to do something here. He's able to get some final damage. Nino wants to get away. It's him and Yasuke against the world, but he can't survive.
It takes him out, and now it's just one. They got a big lord in the mid lane crashing down. Wave in the bottom and top lane pushing towards Aurora. Yasuke, can he do it?
まさかの
That's a hard bill to sign. Yasuke against 4.
Let's see it. Yasuke with the cables constantly down. The glorious pathway will slow him out as that's going to be Yasuke's sun dump. And it's Tomeng who kills Yasuke. Aurora Gaming Philippines secure top 3.
Just
オーロラ
when
のモバレ
Alter
大
Ego
好き。
thought they had it.
嫌な予感し
Once
た。
again, the Philippines shut them down. Aurora Gaming shows so many faces of style there. From
この巻き
patience
返しはす
to
ごすぎる。
aggression. They've got the full book right now, and this is what we wanted to see them. Can they match the chaos? Can they match the patience? Can they hold out to the late game or take it in the early game? And I feel like in that best of 5, we saw all of those things checked off. This is a team in my eyes that can go the distance.
The answer is yes. We got our answer.
完全にアルタイガの試合と思ったのに。あのロード耐えたのがやっぱ初回はとかか。
It's the Selangor Red Giants who are already waiting in the upper brackets after a clutch victory against Aurora Gaming Turkey and their brothers.
What a series overall. What a night overall. Aurora Gaming, a team that so many people felt like, could they make it this far? Could they get to top 8 at this point? They've secured top 3 at a minimum. And whether they win or lose tomorrow, whoever ends up facing them, there was a lot to say. Let's throw it over to the panel, though. How we doing, guys?
勝ちか。いや、ただ、ロア側、
最後位置取りよかった。
I'm trying to temper my celebration here just a little bit because now I hear my voice in the arena.
ロア側ちょっと混沌としすぎやな。
Man, what a day this has been. I think this has been the most intense days in terms of technical micro.
いや、おもろかった。
My God, if Edward does not get the MVP by the end of this,
ということで、まあ今日はこの辺にしておりますか。以上。
I think, especially in the last